Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? I knew I'd fuck that up. Well, hey, what's up, guys? Tonight on Cinema Rewind, we're diving into one of A24’s most haunting and atmospheric horror films, The Witch from 2015. So stick around. I'm going to roll the intro and we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome back, guys, to Cinema Rewind, the series where we rewind the films that terrified us, thrilled us, and most importantly, shaped the way we watch films. I'm GC, the host of Face the Movies and Friday Night Fright Night podcast. This is episode 19, and tonight we're exploring one of the most psychological terror, religiously paranoid, and creepy dread of The Witch from 2015. Written and directed by Robert Eggers in his stunning feature debut. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Jordan from the Movie Den. First of all, guys, blow up the comment section for Jordan because he just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. Massive achievement. Make sure to blow that comment section up. And also, let's thank him for getting our special guest on because, I mean, Jordan's been my left-hand man and then my right-hand man, Steven from After Hours Video. Go ahead and congratulate Steven. I don't know why, but I'm sure he's achieved something new this week. He's always killing it as well. But now, as far as for our special guest, it is Evan from Rockland Graves. So let's go ahead and get these guys out here and get the party started. Now we've got Jordan. What's up, brother?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was dying at that intro when you're like, deliciously.
Dude, of course I messed up the word that I wouldn't mess up. The word I was worried about was the one that I messed up. But and then we got Steven. What's up, brother?
Dude, you guys ready to take it back to the 1630s?
Dude, I'm ready to coveth without E.
Easy, man. Easy. We know what happened last time you did that.
Be careful.
That is true. That is true. And then we've got our very special guest, guys. Just give them a round of applause or just snap your fingers or comment a bunch of weird fingers and stuff in the comment section. But let's get Evan out here.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Wag his tongue in thy mouth.
There we go.
Nice
Dude,
save, Evan.
What's up?
What's going on?
Thank you.
Dude, we're definitely gonna
Not a whole lot. I just got done watching The Witch.
Oof.
Oh, dude, perfect, man. It's always good to watch stuff right before doing stuff like this because it's so fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way to be able to forget something, especially with a movie like this. But let's jump in real
This
quick.
was one, honestly, I probably didn't even need to.
You didn't need to what?
Sorry?
Oh, what'd you say at the end?
I really didn't need to rewatch.
You
I was
didn't
going to say I
need to.
didn't
You
need
had
to
to.
rewatch this. I've seen it so many times. Exactly. I totally could have done this blind, but that gave me an excuse to watch it again.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's all that matters.
As long as we always have an excuse to watch good movies, I mean, it's perfect. Especially a beautiful film like this, which we're going to jump into because, I mean, man, it was my first time watching this week. I've had it on the list for a while, but we've got so much to talk about tonight. But let's jump into the comment section real quick. Let's say hi to everybody on here. And I do see Steven from the movie Odyssey is one of the first ones to show up today. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Steven?
And for everybody watching, we do plan on having Steven on here, hopefully for November as a guest, first time on here to hang out with us. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have two Stevens, so we're gonna see how that goes. And then we've got Alexander.
What's up, Alexander?
I see your handle looks different at the end. IB4 DT. Is that related to this film for tonight? Did you change it just for us, or is that something different? And then congrats, Steven.
Commitment.
With V and now with
thanks,
a
man.
H. Steven with a V.
I'm already winning tonight, right?
Dude. Then we got Keith on here. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Keith?
What's up, Keith?
Hopefully, Keith, you could join us next Tuesday for our episode, which we're not going to say anything yet. Because every week is a surprise. We try not to let you guys know until 2 days prior or 3 days prior usually. But hopefully Keith can make it next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Stephen says, "Welcome, brethren. The cauldron speaks true this fine evening."
Nailed it.
Couldn't have said
Dude.
it better.
How fun would it be if we did the whole thing in like early English?
Oh, dude, it would take us like 6 hours just to get through like halfway through it. We're gonna start speaking super slow.
People
What
have
the
to
hell,
watch
like,
the podcast with subtitles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's how I watched the
I
movie.
did a video on The Witch, and I had people who were like frustrated that I didn't put subtitles on the dialogue. Because I mean, it's it's esoteric. It can be
Yeah.
difficult
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I feel
no,
like
It
dude,
takes like a number of watches. I feel like I had seen it like 7 times before I felt like I really got everything.
for sure. And it's almost like on first watch, I remember kind of having to lean in a little bit to really understand
Mhm.
what they were saying. It's a little jarring at first.
For me, it's Ralph Innocent's character because he's got that
Yeah.
just very low timbre, very gravelly
Mhm.
voice, which sounds beautiful. It's great, but man, he could be hard, especially when he's in that old English dialect.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very thick
Oh, yeah.
accent.
We got a fan here for you,
Hey.
Evan.
Nova Scotia.
Nova
Sounds
Scotia.
like
going
where I'm
on?
from.
What's
Hi.
going on?
Thank you for
Glad you
joining
could
us
make it.
tonight.
Yeah.
And now, all right, so that's what we got so far going on in the chat. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us as always. Now, let's go ahead and get started. For anybody that hasn't seen The Witch, we're going to give you a little quick synopsis. But if you haven't, it's been a while, you're a little rusty on it. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Now, this film is set in 1630s in New England. I guess he traveled back in time to record this, but The Witch follows a Puritan family vanished from their colony who build a homestead on the edge of the dark forest. When their newborn mysteriously vanishes, the family begins to unravel under the weight of fear, guilt, and suspicion, believing a witch may be living among them. As paranoia consumes them, each member faces a horrifying question. Is there truly an evil presence in the woods or within themselves? Now, pretty much this is a very small cast throughout the entire film, which is kind of
Mhm.
amazing. It makes it very intimate. We've got Anya Taylor-Joy, a favorite actress of Jordan. So she's been in Split, The Queen's Gambit, and a bunch of other stuff. We've got Ralph Ineson, which is the Northman, which is a reoccurring theme here because he was just in Robert's other film, Game of Thrones from 2011. We have Kate Dickie, which is from The Green Knight from 2021, Red Road. We've got Harvey Scrimshaw from The Devil Outside, Ellie Granger from The Missing 2014, and Lucas Dawson from this film. So it seems like this was his first film. But that's it. That's pretty much the cast throughout, which again is awesome. Keeps it very intimate, easy to follow. Except for obviously we were joking around earlier, except for the language. Unfortunately for me, I did have to, like 10 minutes in, I was like, I got to put on subtitles. But
It's not uncommon.
yeah. No, yeah. I was thinking to myself, like, how many of my friends, which I'm going to ask you guys in a bit, because I'm curious to see how many of you guys, and obviously the people watching as well, let us know in the comments, how many of you watched this film with subtitles on. But we're going to go ahead and get started and jump into the icebreakers. For the first one, it's going to be a fun one. Now, Evan, we're going to start with you, obviously, our honored guest tonight. And for this one, it's: would you rather live with Black Phillip for a week or spend a night in the woods from the Blair Witch Project?
So is this just one night? Because generally, if you're in the woods from the Blair Witch Project, it's forever. Is this one night and then I'm out?
It would just be from one night. Well, see, that's the thing, because it depends how things go that night.
It
Because
does depend on what happens.
yeah, because you might be stuck in there with the witch or not. But it's
So-
pretty much Black Phillip for a week, or maybe the witch. Maybe she lets you go that night.
Well, so here's my thought process. Here's the trouble. With Black Phillip, you're basically communing directly with Satan, right?
Yeah.
You're in the woods in the Blair Witch Project. Obviously, there's Satan worshiping going on, but there's like a degree of separation between me and Satan. I'm gonna do the one that keeps me further away. Than the Lord.
Smart answer.
So
There we
Yeah.
go.
and I'll spend a night in the Blair Witch Forest, and I'll just like really mind my own business. And we should be
There we go. Just stay in the outskirts of the forest, just enough where if you
Yeah,
step past
yeah.
the line, you're out.
Wait, can I just like drive my car in and chill in there with the doors locked?
Listen, hey, you're the guest tonight. I mean, as long as you're in those woods, you could be in the car, like in a tank.
I actually, I would. This is insane, but I probably would do it. I would just bring a tent, because I do have a tradition where every time I'm going camping, I watch the Blair Witch the night before going.
Dude,
I'd
Just
probably
set the
just
mood.
lean into that.
dude, that's amazing, man. That's the way to that's the way to do it, man. I mean, you know what? Just creep yourself out. Like for me, I was telling the guys, I think on last episode, how when I've gone hiking and stuff, I'm always watching those videos of like unsolved mysteries in like the national parks.
So creepy.
Yeah, get myself riled up right beforehand.
Yeah.
But now, how about you, Steven? Are you hanging out with Black Phillip or the Blair Witch
No.
that night?
No, I'm so good. I'm good on hanging out Black Phillip or anything to do with him. I'm straight on that. Yeah, as much as I don't like the idea of being trapped in the woods, I think that that's far enough removed where maybe there's the off chance that maybe I get out from underneath it. So
We can hold up in the tent together. We'll be fine.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll bunker down either for one night or I guess eternity.
Yeah. However it goes.
Now, how about you, Jordan? What are we thinking?
Well, boys, you better make room for a third person in that tent, because look, I would rather stay a week in the Blair Witch Forest than a night with Black Phillip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm kind of torn, man, because I know at least with Black Phillip, there's gonna be a chance for me where, you know, worst case, I end up having to float around naked with witches. So, I mean, you know what?
I hope I don't pull up on that
Well, here's the
campfire.
trouble. I don't think they accepted guys into the coven.
No,
This
they
is my-
didn't.
No, this is the trouble, right?
Oh,
I don't think we have that. Out.
damn it.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not.
that sounds terrible then, because
Yeah.
GC just wanted an excuse to get naked.
pretty much, man, just, you know, just go full frontal and just freaking float around a campfire with on a broomstick for Halloween.
You're gonna go out like Caleb if you end up with Black
Yeah.
Phillip. That's what's gonna
That's what I
happen.
thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Laughing deliriously.
Yeah, you know what? I think if you guys have room for a
Got
fourth,
room.
you know what? If it's one of those cool REI tents, I'm in. You know, we'll jump in there and we'll
should
take
rent-
turns sleeping.
This makes more sense in an RV at this point.
Dude, there we go, man. Yeah, we get one of those cool like rock band type RVs with the bunk beds
You
and
can play the Blair Witch game.
Hell
there we
yeah.
go.
We'll get the TV VCR combo going.
There we go. We'll get a
there you go.
CRT 13-inch. We could all just
Yep.
sit there all huddled up.
On VHS, like I've been wanting to.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
That'd be an experience.
Mhm.
Well, I'm surprised Steven didn't pull out the Blair Witch VHS, because whenever we mention one of these gems, he's already got it locked up and ready.
I gotta make sure that it's at least somewhat related to what we're talking about.
That's true,
So,
yeah.
you know, if it was like maybe if I had some Robert Eggers movies on VHS, I'd pull out a nice haul. But
Not to distract, but have you guys seen that new festival cut that Second Sight put out for the Blair Witch Project?
Oh,
Dude,
I did.
I
Like,
want it so bad.
Movie for the first time again.
Yeah.
It's that different. It's crazy. I'll never watch it the original
Oh,
way.
Jordan
I'll
coming
pull
through,
Steven.
man.
There we go.
Okay.
Talking about VHS, you know,
This
I
is a
gotta do it.
first.
hell yeah.
Usually it's Steven, but this time, you know, guys, we're gonna have to have an intervention with Jordan on our like 100th episode, because he's going from VHS, Blu-rays, DVDs, vinyls. It's like this man.
I'm
is
scared
collecting.
he's gonna start getting into laser disc next.
You
I'm
know
worried,
what?
man.
I'm trying to find the Halloween Criterion Laserdisc. That's
No way.
that's a grail right there. So
You're a brave man.
You didn't wind up getting the Halloween vinyl collection, did you?
no,
Oh, the
I,
Sacred Bones.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I just can't. I got a couple
It's
more
wild.
paychecks and maybe I'll pick it up.
It's
Yeah, Alexander, absolutely. You know what? For you, because you're making these beautiful posts every single time after these episodes, Black Phillip will give you whatever your heart desires. You just got to stick around. Yeah, hopefully. die in
Those
the woods.
posts are too good.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
You know what? Who knows, man? I'll shave. Like, and then just put on, see what
But dude,
happens.
Damn, he's really
Hey.
committing to this.
Just tuck it in.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say,
boy.
you have to figure out something there because
no.
you're going to be around naked. So,
Oh man,
Dude, it reminds me of some. I forgot the comedy. I think it was Not Another Teen Movie or something.
Yeah.
Or it was Scary Movie where Ray he like tucks it in, and he's like I'm just like you or something.
Well, so
But
here's the thing then, because if you're
that's
with the Black
hilarious.
Phillip for a week, you got to be tucked for a whole week.
oh, that's gonna be horrible.
You know,
Dude, I don't imagine that's gonna be the same afterwards.
Yeah,
no,
able to
probably
walk
not.
around. I'm doing the chores all weird
Yeah.
for 500. Dude, I would have done it for less, but
nope.
oh man, that's hilarious. Oh, it was Scary Movie. Okay, yeah, it is. Awesome. Okay. Well, guys, with all our fooling around and stuff, we got one more icebreaker, and then we'll jump into the serious question for you guys. Now, we've got 3 choices here. Evan, out of these 3 A24 horror films, The Witch, Hereditary, or Midsommar, which one are you picking? Okay, the rest get deleted from existence. Only one gets to live. Which one?
The Witch.
Okay, The Witch.
It would be either that or Midsommar. I love Hereditary. It is my least favorite Ari Aster movie, which I know is a hot take.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
I love it. There's no, I just don't think there's any bad Ari Aster movies. They're all great. It's just that's the one that's the least interesting to me. But The Witch would be. I got to keep that one.
Dude, I love hearing that answer because for most people, Hereditary, when you ask them, hey, like the scariest A24 horror movie, the one you love the most, usually 8 times out of 10 people bring up Hereditary. I'm not sure if it's just because it's so popular, it's like always in the back of our minds. But for you to pick The Witch, not only is it awesome because we're doing the episode on it, but it's interesting compared to having Hereditary in there and you picking this one. So it's a good choice, man.
I mean, and Eggers and Aster are like 2 of my 3 favorite directors working right now. So this is, I'm not saying I don't like those other 2 movies because I think they're both masterpieces.
Well, with you saying that, slightly like sidetrack, but who is your third favorite director?
Mike Flanagan.
Okay, that's a freaking fantastic choice, dude. You got a triple threat, man. Hell yeah.
I started
That's awesome.
rewatching The Haunting of Hill House last night.
I watch it
It's
at
so
least
good.
once a year.
Yeah.
I rewatched Midnight Mass earlier this year for the first time since that came out. And I forgot how good that was.
Phenomenal show, dude.
This year, like my 2 favorite movies so far, my 3 favorite movies so far, Life of Chuck, Eddington, and Weapons, I would say. But yeah, 2 of those, Aster and Flanagan. So it's been a good year so far.
Yeah, it has.
I sidetracked a little bit there, but yeah, I'd keep The Witch.
Did GC freeze?
I think he may. Okay, I thought I thought it would be
Black Phillip got to him.
See, that's what you get when you start playing with that stuff. That's what happens.
Okay,
it would happen if you were with the Blair Witch Force. Just saying.
Well, whenever GC comes back, I guess we'll reconvene on that. But Evan, I gotta ask, what is your power ranking for Eggers films?
Look, man. the thing with his body of work is that they're so different. Here's the best way I can put it: The Lighthouse is my favorite, and then the other 3 kind of float around in this pool, like right below it. Where I mean, I love all, like they're so hard to compare. They're such different movies.
I swear.
Like Nosferatu, like every time I see a new Eggers movie, it takes me a little while to like come around to it because it's so not what I'm expecting. Like, when The Lighthouse came out, all I had seen was The Witch, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a creepy ghost story in a lighthouse. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, and now it's like a desert island movie for me.
It feels like an experience.
Yeah, Northman, I was like, oh, that was dope, but now I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then Nosferatu, the first time I saw it, I was disappointed because I had first heard about Nosferatu when The Witch came out, and so the image I started in my head, the only frame that I had for what Eggers was like was The Witch. So I was expecting something closer to like Herzog's Nosferatu, like very slow, quiet, and eerie, not the grand operatic fairy tale that this was. So when I first saw it, I was like, that was not what I wanted. But again, came around to it, and now it's
What initially for you did you have like? I mean, because it seemed like the other three films really landed for you, but what was it about Nosferatu that you felt like didn't really connect for you? Was it just maybe your expectations were a little bit higher because you had been following the news for a while then, or?
yeah. I think I had built just a very, very different image in my head
Mhm.
of what the movie was, and when I saw it, it was like midnight, so I
Oh,
didn't have the energy to accept something different.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it to be so theatrical, I guess. I was expecting something more somber.
Okay.
And that's what I wanted. That's what I had been waiting for like 10 years by the
Mhm.
time it came out, almost 10 years. Um, so it took me a little bit of time. Um, but yeah, all of them for me, I find his movies are unique in the sense that oftentimes your first watch of a movie is the most impactful. I
Yeah.
find his just get better every time I watch them because there's so much. They're like simple archetypal stories, but there's so much like right below that to chew on subsequent viewings that it can change completely.
It's interesting because I agree. I feel like it was like flip-flop for me. Like Nosferatu was a film that connected with me
Mm,
on first watch. Northman took me a couple watches for that one to like, I mean, it's a lot to unpack with that film,
mm.
but as time went on, I really had a different level of appreciation for it. And just his whole body of work, it's just crazy. Like 4 for 4 in just what,
Mhm.
a decade?
Yep.
Which is insane to me. I don't think we have at least that comes to mind, like another director that has a hit ratio quite like that.
I think Astor. I know that his body of work is more divisive than Eggers, which I wouldn't have expected when they first started. But Astor's become a much more divisive director. But to me, he's another one where it's like he's just hit every single time. Yeah, it's certainly not something you see a lot, and that's a more
No.
contentious one for sure. It's
Mhm.
not.
Jordan, what about
Guys,
you?
Well, for me, it's The Witch. It was the first Eggers film I saw, and I remember I saw it in theaters. And you want to talk about scaring? I
Mhm.
was scared. It scared me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would probably I'm kind of in the way with Evan, just Witch being number one. The other three just kind of are where they're at. I guess it's hard to say what my least favorite is. I don't know because they each can be trade places at
Mhm.
any given time of how I
It's so
feel.
mood dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one that took me the longest to really grasp and kind of understand and appreciate is The Lighthouse,
Mm.
because I feel
Oh,
like that
really?
is,
Okay.
yeah, because I saw this in theaters too, and I knew it was going to be black and white, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into with that movie. I mean, we talked about hard to understand what you're hearing in The Witch.
Mm.
Watch The Lighthouse.
I bought the
It's
screenplay book for that. I love it.
okay. Yeah, I have the screenplay book for The Witch.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that's it. Yeah,
It's
just The Witch.
it's so interesting too because I also think each movie, like when you go to see it, I think that, maybe that specific point in time has a lot to do with like, where things are at in life. I mean, over a whole decade of these four films coming out, it's kind of crazy to see how they're coming out at very different points, at least in my life. So I look back on like The Lighthouse a little bit more fondly. That was back when my wife and I were dating at the time.
Mm.
And I remember fumbling basically the date that it was supposed to come out because I remember that being a little bit more of a limited release where we're at. And I got it. I fucked up and ended up thinking I gotten tickets for that weekend. So we got all ready and everything. And come to find out I had bought tickets to the following weekend. So I just felt
Oh,
like an idiot. But I don't know.
my
It's just funny
girlfriend
looking back
hates
on
the Witch.
it.
guys,
Hates
Black
it.
Phillip, like that's what happens when you choose to stay with
Gotcha.
Black Phillip.
Yeah.
Dude, I swear to God, of
Should've
course.
You play with fire, you get burned.
Oh,
We
dude.
started in the room in the tent, and you
There,
said,
watch out. GC's naked.
Imagine I come back.
You don't know what's getting burned.
I'm not even wearing a shirt. We like the camera turns on. I'm like, what the hell?
Just like Keith, you're running around with your lobster, man.
Yeah, man.
My year lobster. Did you guys by any chance? Because I know right when it cut off, you Evan, you had answered the Witch. Steven, did you get a chance to answer out of the three? Which one's your favorite A24 horror film
Um,
between The Witch, Hereditary, and Midsommar?
I think it would have to be Hereditary. I know you were saying that I think a lot of people would probably choose that more often than not, but I think it was just that specific point in time when I saw that movie and just the memories I have attached to it. And just, it was the first movie that legitimately scared me. And I couldn't tell you how long. And you know how it is. Like, you guys
Oh
have all
yeah.
seen countless horror movies. And that feeling is something at least for me, I feel like I'm constantly chasing. You're trying to find like that next movie that shakes you to your core. When Evil Lurks was another one that I saw not too long ago. And that one, I mean, didn't even have it on my radar. It was like an unexpected movie for me that I absolutely loved, and it scared the shit out of me. So I don't know.
Dude,
I'd have to go with Hereditary then.
Hereditary, to me, it's a good choice. Not to, they're all fantastic choices, but out of all three, to me, Hereditary is the one that makes me the most uncomfortable, because being a grown man and like watching this movie and then having to turn off all the lights, immediately getting flashbacks of like the mom crawling up on the ceiling in the dark, like all that creepy shit compared to
Mhm.
like Midsommar, where it's like there's no cult people around me that I'm aware of. And then for The Witch, it's like, yeah, I'm near the forest, but not close enough for the witch to get me. So I'm like, I feel kind of safe. But Hereditary's the creepy one for me. But
It's
what about you, Jordan?
Oh, for me, The Witch, definitely. Uh, I love Hereditary. I think that's a great film. Midsommar is another great one. What I love about The Witch is there's something about early Americana, early the settler times that just scare me, because there was a lot of different beliefs going on back then. You had, the Christianity was really flourishing because they brought that in over from England. But you also have, they were, I would probably say hyper religious, where anything anybody did, they would, like they would call him a
Oh
witch.
yeah.
And it's clear in this movie, they thought that about Thomason. Right. And I just think The Witch to me is one of modern movies, has the most rich atmosphere. The score to complement it, the way it builds tension, I think is incredible. The long shots, like the scene where after the baby Samuel is stolen, and it does that kind of wide zoom shot into the forest, and it just builds and
Yeah.
builds. That stuff to me gets under my skin, and that's what scared me. And I mean, I know I'm just going to show up. I mean, it has
Oh,
to
dude,
be my
please.
favorite. I've got, the screen book
Oh,
or the screenplay book, um, the vinyl. So I mean,
I just got that vinyl.
Yeah, I love that
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
I think I need to get a new one because mine's kind of warped.
Jordan,
A
you're not
little
over
too
there.
warped.
You're not over there listening to that vinyl and Conjuring stuff like naked near the movies or anything, are you?
I'm I'm playing this, cleaning my movie room.
There we go.
Dude, I just picture like, whoa, like some creepy stuff, and you're just like dusting calmly.
Hey,
I had
love it.
definitely
it's
listened to
calming.
that soundtrack while cleaning the house.
Dude, it's relaxing, man. It really is. Like with like that atmospheric like movie, especially if the lights are not fully on, but you're just kind of set the mood and stuff, and you're just very
Put a
relaxed.
nice candle or a warm
Yeah,
a warm light, man.
dude.
Also,
That's why I set up tonight like that light. I'm set it to candle mode. I was trying to like mimic it, but it just kind of feels like my lights like flashing like off and on. And this is definitely the theme for tonight. It's just us randomly
Oh,
standing naked in the
Sorry.
woods.
that's also really creepy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's freaking.
I think out of them, Hereditary definitely scared me the most.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I love like atmospheric fairy tales, for lack of a better word. And like that's why for me, like Midsommar and The Witch resonate with me more than Hereditary did. But I'm not discrediting it. It's as popular as it is for a reason.
Yeah. Well, now since a lot of people, so Evanson, you chose The Witch, and it's something that obviously we're talking about tonight, and there's so many questions with this film, right? There's people that don't really care for it too much. They think their opinion is that it's overrated. It's just one of those elevated horror type, like I don't really care too much for it. But then there's some of us that were like, this is art. A lot of work and love went into making this film. A lot of scenes are disturbing, like Steven was mentioning as far as for the baby, which we'll talk about that in a bit. That's something that to me was just, man, it's rare for me to see a movie knowing that it's fake, but it's rare to see something and be like, damn, that's kind of messed up. I almost wish it wasn't as shown the way it was. But we have stuff like this. Now, for The Witch, right? What what do you think this movie truly means? Because so much happens in it. I mean, Jordan, you touched on it. It's like it's back in the old times where a lot of people were hyper religious. If a woman had an opinion, if something happened, they were considered a witch. They were very trigger happy to just kind of pretty much hang people for stuff and accuse them of witchcraft. Do you guys think that this film is more of a witchcraft type film, religion, or a breakdown of faith? Or a little bit of everything? Because I mean, it kind of does, but which one do you think it leans more towards? And I'll start with you, Evan.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I have to say is probably being skewed by listening to Eggers talk about it. So like he doesn't tend to approach his stories with theme necessarily in mind. He is literally just like striving to express these classic mythological, like archetypal stories. So the purpose in my eyes of The Witch is to be nothing more than a Puritan's worst nightmare. That's what this movie is. It is fully an exploration of classic witchcraft folklore treated as reality and depicted as Puritans feared it. And with that comes theme that you don't even have to intentionally be thinking about when you're writing something like this. It just happens. It's going to be a part of it. And so that's how I see this movie, where there are absolutely things that you can look at and say like, oh, this is, touching on this, or it's a piece of commentary on that. But I don't think it was something that was striving to do that necessarily. It's just a byproduct of what it's doing.
Especially the times too. Like, I mean, when you base a movie around the 1600s, you're definitely going to get a lot of that, and it's a big topic. I mean, when anything that comes with the word witchcraft, there's always going to be like the opposite as well. With as far as for like the religion aspect of it, some type of faith being involved in a film like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I definitely agree with you on that. And what about you, Steven? What are you thinking this kind of leans more towards? Or like the main one?
I would say religious paranoia would be the biggest theme that I feel like that this movie tackles. I would say the conflict between like light and darkness. I would say the breakdown of a family, the isolation that takes place. They're very secluded away from everyone, so you're seeing the family unit basically fall apart. I would say religious corruption, sin. I think that, and I guess you can interpret it in like a number of different ways, but I definitely feel like the paranoia aspect is probably the most evident.
What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I agree with every single one of what both of you guys said. At the core, I see it kind of as a family movie in a way. Not like, oh, family friendly, but you know what I mean? It's
Like,
it's just don't take your kids to see this. But a story of kind of what Steve said, a breakdown of the family.
Yeah.
In the light of religion, in the light of, paranoia of sin. And it's interesting, you see that Black Phillip, Lucifer, Satan, however you want to call this, it's Satan. How he will hone in on those certain weaknesses that each of these characters have in this movie. I think a great example is Caleb. I mean, I think that's the shining example, right? He's a young man going into puberty. He catches himself looking at his sister a couple of times, and them being a religious family, that is in the back of his mind his whole time, where he goes, I know this shouldn't be, or I know I shouldn't be doing this. And he does his ritualistic prayers, right? Whether they're really from the heart or whether they're just simply because, hey, my dad told me to say these and this will take those thoughts away. So he relies heavily on that. And then, of course, the witch or Satan takes advantage of that with the woman. And I thought of Hansel and Gretel the second I saw that house in the forest, right?
Yep.
Just that. I mean,
that.
What's that?
One of his first short film was Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, and I saw that's immediately what I thought of when I saw that, and that's what I think it is. It's a breakdown of family by Satan, strategically picking them apart. And it's interesting. I know I'm kind of long-winded with this, but I've read a couple theories, and I know theories, they're not necessarily from Eggers himself, but there's the idea of each of them might represent the 7 deadly sins. And I think it's a really cool concept. It falls apart pretty quickly, but the idea of it is interesting, and about how each of them have their faults, and that was ultimately is their downfall. All, shadowed by this religious paranoia.
Well, I got a question for you guys, because I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I mean, they're all like fantastic observations with this film. But what about with this movie if there wasn't, and I haven't heard Robert talk about the film or anything like that. Again, it was my first time watching it, but see, for me, I was thinking about, what about if there was no witch and Black Phillip wasn't Satan, right? And the reason I bring this up, it's because if we take the, all the recipes for disaster, right? When we have isolation, desperation, grief, and obviously the family's on their own. I mean, we all know what it's like, the societal pressure, try to take care of your family, try to take care of yourself. I mean, even back in that time's even worse, because it's like this guy had to build these houses from scratch by himself. He's a man of the family. There's so much going wrong. They're running out of food. Obviously, with starvation, and malnutrition, you start kind of hallucinating. And then obviously, the baby going missing, right? I mean, with
terrifying,
dude, with that type of guilt, where she's thinking to herself, "It's my fault that the baby's gone." A lot of the times with guilt, it creates this psychological thing where you start creating stuff, right? I mean, it doesn't help. They're already malnourished. They're already exhausted. So much is going wrong, and then each person is kind of starting to turn on each other because they're in this small cabin, and you see them all start turning, looking at each other. Obviously the mother's hating her daughter because she think it's her fault that the baby's gone. And then the husband, he feels like he's failing as a man, not being able to take care of his family. He had to sell a precious family heirloom from his wives to try to get the tools he needed for hunting. So there's a lot going on with that. And obviously the son, like you were talking about, Jordan, where he's hitting puberty. So he's starting to feel guilty because it's a very religious family, and pretty much anything that goes against, the religion, it's like so shamed upon. And he's starting to feel so much guilt because he thinks it's, it's something even worse, instead of understanding like the human nature of just, you're isolated, again, malnourished. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Thank you. Can't talk tonight, guys. Sorry. But yeah, with all those kind of things going together, he's kind of starting to feel like, oh man, there's something wrong with me, not understanding I'm just hitting puberty. But do you guys think that that's what this film could be? And then we're just taking on this ride where we're hallucinating with the family? Or do you think this is like legit, like there was a witch, like Black Phillip was Satan and all that stuff? What are your guys' thoughts?
I would say you could be onto something. The only part where I think that I could find a wrinkle in the fabric, I guess, is the scenes where we get just the witch by herself. Because if it's a hallucination, if it's a paranoia, if it's a mental breakdown that this family's going through, then I think it would just focus on the family itself. We wouldn't get outside characters kind of playing their roles away from the family, if that makes any sense. I think if it was that, we wouldn't have got the witch with the baby. So,
well, and so again, what I would, sorry, were you not done?
No, I was going to ask you actually next, Evan. Sorry.
No, again, what I will say is colored by interviews and such, but um, this is something that I definitely see um, as being a real tale of there was a witch, just because of how Eggers approaches this kind of material, where he likes to treat folklore and mythology as reality in his worlds. But there is a really cool detail in the movie where he is referencing the possibility of it being in their heads, where early on in the film, there's the scene right before they go out to try and hunt for pelts in the woods, where they're going through the corn and it's rotten, and you can see ergot fungus on the corn, which is what they make acid with, and is what
Mm.
caused so much of the hysteria that led to people thinking that witchcraft was real. So you can see that exact fungus on the corn there. So there's even a little hint of like this could be going on. But no, I definitely I do see the movie as like authentic witchcraft.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, and it's interesting too because see, I thought for the son, for example, when he does see like the witch, right, and all that happens, I started thinking, I wonder if that was legit or it was kind of he was out there in the woods, it was dark, he was cold, exhausted, panicked from being lost, that he started hallucinating that scene in particular as well. um but I mean, if the director, that's the one thing I didn't watch the interviews or anything, so that's why I was excited to hear about you guys, especially some of you, I know you, Evan and Jordan, you guys have seen this movie more than once. It's great to hear that the director stated it's like also these things, are legit. Like it wasn't just all metaphors. Some stuff was, but a lot of it and it generally does happen in the film.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it was just meant to be like an extremely accurate depiction of
yeah.
traditional folklore surrounding with, like, that's why you have the hair popping up in the movie, because hares were often associated with people thinking that a witch was around when you would see a hare in the woods. So that's why you're seeing that throughout the movie. Like it's that kind of thing where he just wanted to be as close to the authentic folklore as it could be.
Oh, dude, one thing I looked into, kind of like I did try and look into kind of the making of it and some of the stuff, and I mean it's phenomenal the fact that he used actual writings from during that time, and then
Yeah,
the fact that the lighting for this film was all natural. He used nothing but candlelight to light everybody because he wanted it as authentic as possible, and I mean to me, um, I know again a lot of people would say, "Oh, these movies are overrated," or this and that, or it's just artsy fartsy. But for you to be talented enough to be able to light a whole film like this, a dark film with just candles, and make it look as gorgeous as it is, I mean,
yeah.
dude, like how
Well,
many people do that? They don't.
and what's funny is that you're saying that a lot of people would say it's overrated, and Robert Eggers would agree with you.
Yeah.
He also thinks that The Witch is an overrated film. His director's commentaries are always hilarious to watch. He's very self-deprecating, and there's like a couple establishing shots in this movie. One in particular where like this establishing shot comes, and it's like innocuous. It's just the woods. It's nothing. But he's like, I hate this shot. This fucking sucks. This looks terrible. No, he's very he would agree that it's overrated.
dude, I mean, see, but so like for me, honestly, I don't think it was. I mean, like I remember watching this and thinking to myself, I was like, what's the deal with a lot of people that I have heard like hate this film? Like I was like, I couldn't see like the hatred behind it. I went in, open eyes. Like I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, okay, let's see what happens, right? Because I know I have close friends. Obviously, Jordan loves the film. Steven enjoys this film, and it's just, I mean, these guys have never steered me wrong. So watching it, I was like, man, like this this was exactly what people talked about. I mean, it was fantastic. It was very simple, tight knit, beautiful, um, creepy.
I mean, there's a
Like,
couple things, right? Like, I think if you're not into slow burns and you find the
yeah,
dialogue to be a barrier, those two things are going to be like tough. But also, I think we have a lot of period films now that are written anachronistically, for lack of a better term,
yeah,
where we're kind of not that this is a bad thing, but there's a lot of movies that are kind of portraying like people with modern sensibilities in periods that did not share those.
Yeah.
And Eggers has never been concerned with that. So there's so much disconnection when watching a lot of his movies that people probably just aren't used to. So you have the really slow burn film, and you have the really, dense dialogue that's hard to understand. And then you also have these characters who just don't behave or think in a way that is even remotely familiar to us. So I can see why some people don't jive with it, I
Yeah.
guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
No,
I
it is,
understand.
man. With like slow burns, I mean, it's not for everybody, especially people that, like if you're a person that grew up with just slashers, that's your thing. And then I think the problem is too, it's that like a film like this, right? And I talked about this with Weapons. Um, One thing to me that I think worked against the movie like Weapons, for example, it's being marketed as a horror movie, like one of the best horror movies of the year. Everybody's screaming this, from the rooftops. And when I saw the film, I was like, is it horror? Like to me, Barbarian, that's like, that was horror. That was, I mean, dude, it's being like this underground cave system under your house and this monster and this and that.
Hmm.
But I think for me, like for example, like Weapons, if they would have marketed as a psychological type thriller, like a psychological like horror commentary, like societal commentary, I thought
Mhm.
that they would have not got as much hate as a lot of other people were saying. But I think with this film, it's The Witch. I didn't see it as a horror film, just because the entire movie I was just like waiting and waiting, and I was like, okay, so this is more of a psychological type period piece. Like because I mean, even though there is like two situations or are kind of creepy, it wasn't that like you're tense, you're in the edge of your seat, you're scared.
Mhm.
Something like with Hereditary, where there's a lot more in there, where it's like, okay, there's you're dealing with like supernatural in the sense where you're actually seeing things move around, you're actually seeing entities and stuff like that. And with this, it's more of messing with your mind. But would you guys agree with something like that with The Witch, or would you stick with your guns and say this is horror?
I think it's horror. I think it's a folk tale. Just, I mean, but you could say the same thing about Hereditary being a psychological, with a mom
Yeah,
going through the grief of,
Mhm.
first her mother going, and she already had a bad relationship with her mom, and now her daughter. One could argue that that is a psychological more type of movie. But I see what you're saying. But for me, at least,
yeah.
this is a horror movie in my opinion. I see it. You know, yeah, I see it as that.
Mm.
I guess.
No, dude, and there's no problem with that, man. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, we always try to promote the fact that each film is a different no film is the same film for each person.
Mhm.
It's a different experience. For me, like I would say something different than for you, but at the end of the day I respect it because I mean it's just really it's art, subjective, and it's what it means to us. I mean there's never a right or wrong answer. It's more of a conversation, an opening for dialogue like we're doing tonight. Or usually we do. But no, it's a good answer. Steven, what about you, man? Like, where are you with this?
Um, I think it leans more, if anything, to like being a period piece slash folk horror, in
Okay.
its roots. But I mean, you guys made a good point. I mean, you could very much look at a film like Hereditary in more of a psychological lens than it purely being only horror.
Yeah.
So that's probably where I would land with that.
And Bella actually brought something up, which I completely agree with. This movie is definitely more of a horror movie, like if you're watching it as a woman, because
Hmm.
being in those times, and it's like you're pretty much like in that scene where they're talking about taking their daughter into town and giving her to another family. I mean, dude, that's horrifying. Or the fact that you're pretty much like you see the daughters, like, I mean, borderline. I mean, one could say a slave because she's pretty much having to do all these chores, having to worry about like being given away, all that stuff, and it's just one of those like it's scary, man. It's a scary time.
Well, and there's a lot of elements about this that feel very coming of age,
Yeah,
especially for our protagonist in this. Um, it's just interesting because it's a very skewed look, like you were even talking about with the son, and just the idea of being like, feeling lustful about, I mean, right or wrong, obviously in this situation, but he's conflicted with the feelings that he has towards his sister in this. And
Yeah.
I feel like in this specific time period, I mean, their views on things were wildly different. Religion, y- like any of this content, it's very I don't know, like you kind of got to put yourself in that time to kind of understand that it's different than how it is now.
Yeah, totally polar opposites than where we live today. I mean, man, everything they had to make from scratch. They had to build from scratch. Any little mistake, I mean, just especially with farming, for example, you mess up and you're living out there in the outskirts and you're screwed compared to now, where we could
Hmm.
drive down the street and get everything we need. I mean, all the societal laws and rules were so different, man. I mean, especially in the peak during the 1600s and so on, where it's like heavily religious and especially in those tight knit communities where if you don't agree and you saw in the film, it's like either you agree or you leave.
Hmm.
And then the isolation. I mean, it's a scary thing, man. One horse gets sick, the carriage breaks and you're far, and it's so different, man. And I think for a lot of us, and then guys, I mean, if you agree as well, like it's sometimes for certain period pieces, it is hard to put ourselves in those shoes with the decisions that they make, and be able to say, "What would I do?" Because we've never been in certain situations. I know I saw a comment in here earlier. Someone was asking, I think this is one. Yeah, Mason Adamson was asking, "Do you guys believe that the parents handled the situation appropriately?" What do you guys think?
I mean, I'll jump in. Look,
Okay.
we've talked about the idea of societal norms now versus societal norms then. I
Yeah,
think if we go through the lens of how we conduct ourselves, no, I don't think so. I think some of the decisions that they made were kind of very well could be detrimental to these kids.
Hmm.
But back then, that was how it was. I mean,
yeah,
it's it's hard, like we've already said, it's hard to say, well, they shouldn't have done that
Hmm.
because X, Y, and Z. Well, no, they did that because X, Y, and Z. That's just how life was back then, right or wrong,
Mhm.
right? Um, so to call it that's a tough question because to say that the parents were wrong then, I don't know. I don't know, but now, sure, yeah, I could stand by that. It's just I think it's a sign of the times, literally, for this type of film.
Yeah. What that's I love that kind of thing with his work is again like what I was saying earlier, where his movies do not like have no sign of people behaving with any sort of modern sensibilities. Like by today's
No.
standards, yeah, these parents were like, you know, not doing a great job. But for 1600s, I would say I think they were doing probably a better job than most parents would have in that situation. Like they would have been, especially William, the way that he maintained his or attempted to maintain his composure through that, and also tried even after believing that his daughter was a witch and had killed his son moments prior, was trying to still show warmth to her and show love to her
yeah,
and say, we can free you from this. This isn't you don't have to stay in this." And I don't think that's something that you would have seen often from parents in that time. I mean, you saw how Catherine responded. It was a very different
Mhm.
Hmm.
sort of energy. So to me, like I think William was for the 1600s a phenomenal father. But yeah, I mean, you hear certain conversations like when he's speaking with Caleb early on in the film when Caleb is asking about if Sam got into heaven or not. And it's such a bleak
Hmm.
outlook that they had on life where he was basically like, I don't know, he could be burning in hell, but let's not think about it. Let's just move on.
Mhm.
That was how it was, right? It was very, I mean, obviously they were completely driven by theism. There was no there was nothing that didn't align with that. Um, And again, like that conversation that him and Catherine have up in the attic, where she's talking about the dream that she had, where she was held in Christ's love, and she fears that she'll never feel that love again. And all he has to say at the end of it is, "Thou shalt have of it in heaven." That's it. We don't have bliss here. We have, this is where we are, and we'll be happy after we die. That was the thought process. And
Yeah.
I think for people living in that perspective, they did a good job.
Dude, I love that you
Well,
brought up. Oh no, go ahead, Jordan.
I was gonna say, I mean, yeah, if you look in, it talks about in the Bible, um, what does it say? To live is, but to die is gain. I mean, that's kind of how their mentality
Totally.
was. Look, life on this earth, they saw it as this: life on this earth is temporary and it's hard.
Mhm.
Their idea is the idea of, you guys all, they're saying, you pick up your cross. That was their way of life. Life is hard, but they had an end goal, and that's where that phrase that William told her, you
Mhm.
basically, you'll get that in heaven.
Yep.
So that's where that comes from.
Dude,
Totally. Yeah.
I love that you brought up William because and that question that came up as far as for the parents, because the fact that it's true, it's I took it as, again, first time watch. I'm probably gonna have to watch it like 2 more times to really grasp a lot more. But I did take that for the most part. I mean, William was a fantastic father. I think especially even in modern times in these days, like I would think he would still beat a lot of modern fathers in this day and
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
But I
Probably
mean,
right.
like, dude, the guy, he tried, man. I mean, he obviously admitted when he saw that the mother, was yelling at the daughter, and he was like, she was about the whole cup and accusing her of all
Yeah.
sorts of things, and he owns up to it. He's like, it was me. I love the fact that the way he spoke to his son was, because I've seen other period pieces in other films, even now in this modern age, where fathers are more like, just suck it up and that's it. They're not very
Yeah.
conversation. And the father
He was very
wasn't,
compassionate.
he was very compassionate. He
Yeah.
spoke to him in a way where it wasn't like, just do what I say, I'm the man of the house and that's it. Like, he was very trying to talk to him and explain things to him and make him a man, because he knew, it's like, you're gonna be a man soon. If something happens to me, pretty much, without saying that part, if something happens, you're in charge. You got to take care,
Mhm.
of your sister and the kids and everybody. Um, but he definitely, all the way till the very end. I mean, and like you said, he was still trying to help his daughter regardless of everything that happened. And then it was just interesting to see his demise and to see, the goat just take him out. And I think at that point there itself, it was one of those, that's where it showed pride, because he treated it as just some like feral beast, like he was just like, I have dominion over you, you're just a stupid goat. Didn't respect the animal, didn't respect the nature, and got himself taken out. Um, but besides that part, like he was really trying, man. And I felt for him. I did, because it's a hard situation, dude. Your family's starving. There's so many hard choices and only you can make, because
Yeah.
you're the man of the house. It's like, what do you do?
Well, yeah, and one of my 2 favorite scenes of the whole movie is his prayer the night before he dies, when he's begging God to save his family.
Yeah.
You can really feel there that, like, he genuinely did deeply just want what was right for his family, and he was feeling guilt for having them ostracized from their community because he was a separatist, and let his pride of his beliefs get in the way of giving his family the safest life that he possibly could. Um, that I mean, just the way that he starts begging, uh, "Please God, I have not damned my family," is so sad, and
Yeah.
you can really feel the care that he has for them, and the regret that he has for the position that he put them in.
Yeah, no, that scene, I mean, spoke volumes, man. I mean, to be in that
Incredible.
situation, and to be, pretty much, he was at that point where he's like, I would sacrifice myself for them.
Mhm.
And that's like how, in a situation like that, I think that's the ultimate, um, like, sacrifice that you would give. It's like, you're like, I would trade myself over, like, just for them to be okay. And dude, I'm glad you brought up that scene, because I wanted to ask you guys, throughout the film, obviously there's some hard moments. It's a hard film to watch at times. Obviously, we have the baby scene. We have just the breakdowns and everything. That particular scene of him, pretty much begging. It's sad. But is there any particular scene in this film that really got to you at any point where you were just kind of like, shit, like this is this this is just, it made you really think about, and Evan, I'll start with you. Was that the scene for you, or did you have a different
Well,
one?
are we talking like fright factor or just like
Oh
holy
no,
shit?
just more, not fright, but more of like just touched you, like just made you feel like, almost like you felt that, either
I
that
mean,
desperation or that misery, or
there's
just heart, it made you feel bad for them.
there's so much in the last half an hour of this movie. Like that to me is easily the best chunk of it from Caleb's death scene on. The movie
Hmm.
is just like full throttle.
Yeah.
Like Caleb's death always blew me away. Uh, Obviously, you're watching this son die in front of them, but part of what I think made that so effective was sort of the roller coaster of it, where at first they're terrified, and then it looks like he's starting to do better, and he's smiling and he's laughing, and you can see this warmth on their face, this relief just wash over them, and then he dies right in front
Yeah.
of them. So you have this kind of push and pull of what's going on there that made it even more tragic than it already was. And then Kate Dickey's performance as she's wailing, "He is dead," is just awful.
Yeah.
And then you get that what's probably the best shot of the movie, where they're digging his grave. That big wide shot that looks like an old woodcut that you would see somewhere, where she crawls into his grave afterwards. And that I would say that the prayer for sure was another one of those moments. But I think the part where I'm like, oh God, like having you're mentioning hard moments. To me, the hardest thing in this movie is when her mother confronts her that morning, and she has to kill her with that thing. Because
Yeah.
and the whole time her mom's hitting her and trying to choke her, and all that Thomason is saying is, "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you," and nothing. I even just got chills just thinking about that. That to me is the hardest scene of the movie.
Dude, that's a tough one, man, because
Yeah,
she's there, like, she let it go on for a bit. Like, she's being choked to that point where she's like,
she doesn't
"Okay, if
want to
I
hurt
don't
her
do
mom.
some." Yeah. Like, she
Yeah,
just did not wanna hurt her, and it's a hard one, man. I mean, I think that scene with Caleb, um, I was floored. I was floored by that scene. I thought, especially whenever I see a kid actor do something like that, dude, I mean, it just surpassed a lot of adult actors that I've seen that have been in the game for a while. And that scene alone, it's like, this kid's done one other movie from what I was able to find, and then this one, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, that's an
well,
Oscar worthy performance.
what's funny is the only reason he auditioned for the movie was because he was at the mall. And his mom said, "You're either coming shoe shopping with me or you're going to go audition for this thing." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to buy shoes."
That's
So he
so
went for this
funny.
audition and just gave like one of the most memorable performances of the last like 10 years to me.
Dude,
This
it
movie's
was,
10 years old now. Jesus.
dude, incredible, dude, incredible. And
Yeah.
what about you, Steven? I feel like we haven't heard you in a bit now, so I want to hear your opinion on this.
Um, I guess in what sense?
Oh
Like,
no, just like, as far as for like the scenes, like, which
oh,
like, what really kind of made you think it's like, shit, like this kind of broke my heart watching this, or just really made you feel for them? Like, what scene really stuck out to you the most?
I mean, I would have to echo Caleb's death scene just because I feel like that's like the turning point for the family. Like the family at that point, I f- I feel like that's when they start to truly crumble. Um, I mean, obviously we see over the course of the entire film a lot of the morality is entangled with survival and faith, but it definitely feels like the family is definitely tied up in fear and obsession, their religion. Like religion's definitely on like the forefront, right?
Yeah,
Right and wrong. So I think in a lot of ways them being so steadfast to religion, I think ultimately kind of leads to their demise. They're kind of, it's like blind faith, I guess is what I'm getting at. But um yeah, that's really where I feel like it's just such a critical scene
yeah.
because everything starts to decay and rot from that point forward.
So you would say that this is like the scene that really just sets everything up. Like just kind of that's where it's like that's a point of no return.
I think it would be, I mean, if you're talking about a scene that carries the most emotional weight, I would say that. If you're talking about a scene that I think is really where it changes everything for the worse, I think it's when Caleb goes to the witch. And that scene is, I mean, I'll never forget the first time seeing that and just how like you don't like you feel like there's so much dread and anxiety as he's going out there, and you know that it's like you're succumbing to the temptation of sin essentially.
Yeah.
um I think that would be probably the more impactful one overall, but um yeah, it's fucking scary.
No, dude. I
You
mean,
know.
anything that has to do with I always say this. Anything that has to do with woods, nature, nighttime. I mean, besides the woods at night or the ocean at night, and
Mhm.
just that. I mean, dude, what else could get possibly or I mean, or underground, obviously. But those two things, it's like you're kind of hopeless, dude. Like you're.
Yeah.
How do you survive either or being floating around at night in the middle of the ocean? Just waiting. Being hunted or the woods. Where anything. I mean, the woods are ancient, dude. There's still parts of the earth where the woods and the forest, they haven't fully been discovered by man. Like there's still stuff out there that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
And it's like just waiting, just sitting around ancient stuff.
Can I also highlight something that I
Yeah.
feel like over the course of the entire film, how effective it is Mark Horvan's score.
Dude.
It
Mhm.
it elevates this movie to another level, and I feel like if you didn't have him basically like paired with Robert Eggers, I don't know if this, I mean, obviously this movie would still be a strong performance across the board, but his score, it's feels like very sinister or like
Yeah.
Well,
evil, you know?
even the way it's recorded, the song, The Way We Went, that open, you could hear, if you listen, you could hear the instrument
Hmm.
being performed in that score. And and it adds such a raw, authentic, way to it that I think adds so much to the score that in turn obviously adds to the film.
Have
Hmm.
you seen him play with that apprehension engine that he uses to score with?
No, I haven't.
So spare yourself 10, 15 minutes at some point. Sit down and just look up Mark Corvin apprehension engine, because that's what he
Okay.
uses to write a lot. I mean, the music for this movie, he was also using like traditional, like nickel harpa and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Very traditional instruments, but he built this like wooden box basically with all these metal attachments, and there were various pickups in there with different effects that he could apply onto it. And a lot of the music, he did the music for the Lighthouse as well. A lot of his scoring comes from this device called the apprehension engine, which is so much fun to watch him toy around with. There's so many different things he can do with it. It sounds so creepy.
That's cool.
Dude, isn't that incredible that someone could just go and make a device instead of using like AI technology to just do it for them? They just take the time to build something themselves and just
Mhm.
Let me
I think
just
someone
build
built
it.
it for him. A Lutheran
Mhm.
built it for him.
Yeah.
He asked him to build it, but pretty cool.
and
That
Jordan's
is cool.
the biggest sound guy here out of all of us. I mean,
Wow.
so
Evan, here's a musician. You should see
Dude,
his stuff.
I saw the keyboard there. I was like, yeah, man, I got one. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say real quick because I did miss. What's up, Eli?
What's up, Eli?
Thank you for
What's
joining
going
us,
on, man?
Hey.
And guys, do what Eli says, or Black Phillip will come after you. Then watch the internet go out again. It's like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
It's
Black
already
Phillip, I'm
happened
sorry.
once.
It's already happened. And then my angel's here tonight.
Hello,
What's up,
hello.
Aaron?
Hey, hun.
What's going on, Aaron?
Yeah, she called me like in the middle of I was talking, and I saw her FaceTime thing come up, and I was like, oh god. I was like, no, she forgot I'm on a live stream.
Yeah.
But so Jordan, for you, man, last but certainly not least, the 1,000 man. I was gonna say $1,000 man, the 1,000 man. Out of all the scenes, man, I mean, would you say you agree with Steven, Evan, as far as
Yeah, those are both, I agree. Those are both very pivotal. And I think as there's the turning point with Caleb. With William, that's such a raw moment down to its core, because you see a man broken down to nothing, and you see his true self of, he's broken, that he has nothing left, rather than just pleading because he feels like he's out of options. So it's a very somber, very just empty moment, I guess is a good way to say it. But also I think another one, and this is near the end, and it is after Thomasin has to kill her mother. She stands up and she goes and sits at the table. And it's this very quiet moment, and it kind of sits there, and you could see the light change. And I think that is a very pivotal moment, because you start to see Thomasin in her head change, because she is now at the point of, I have nothing left. What is there left to live for?
Yeah.
I have tried this way of life. I'm ready to try something new. I can't do this anymore. And you really see a woman at the end of her rope, is sitting there. She's lost everything. She has no more family. And I think that's a very somber moment, is kind of her sitting there and kind of internally dealing with what just happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that scene is also like, that's kind of what the whole movie has been building up to, is that one moment where she's coming out from the bright, it's still bleak, but the bright outside into the darker room, shedding her, like literally shedding her Puritan binds, where like the entire movie is this coven manipulating the family into thinking that Thomasin is the one committing these acts so that she can be ostracized and be more vulnerable and will join their coven. It's the whole movie is building up to that. So to see her walking into darkness, putting on a dark blanket and removing the clothes that were holding her is such a powerful sequence. It's brilliant.
Well, speaking of brilliant, I want to talk about like the performances, right? We've already kind of touched on that a bit. I know a lot of people say, this is Anya Taylor's like breakout performance. No doubt she did a fantastic, phenomenal job. But as far as for all the performances in this film, you have to pick just one that really, like, this person stuck out to you the most. Who are you guys picking? And Evan, I'll start with you.
It's got to be Ralph. Part of it is his voice, which, funnily enough, when he works, he was talking about this, when he works with Eggers, Eggers will often get him to speak higher in his register because the voice is so low that it's distracting. I would notice, I would watch interviews with him, like his voice is deeper in interviews than it is in movies, and that's because he's being told to speak. So in The Witch, despite how gravelly it is, that's him speaking higher, which is just insane. But yeah, I don't know. I find him to be such a tragic and complex character, and the little subtleties that Ralph Ineson is able to pull from that, like right at the end of the movie when he's waking up, you kind of get this sense on his face that like he's waking up from a dream he doesn't want to leave. Like he wakes up and he's like, oh fuck,
gotta go to work.
Yeah. And that kind of thing is fantastic. But I also think that Kate Dickie is like just gut-wrenching in the movie. So like I don't think I could say that one of them is better than the other. They're both just brilliant, but I think I resonated more with Ralph Ineson's character. So I'll go with that.
I'm with you. Like that Ralph was just, he had a way of conveying like falling apart just through his eyes. Like you see it throughout the film, man. He had like this
sad movie.
He was just depressed at that point. I definitely saw it. Like he was phenomenal. Kate did a phenomenal job because when they do a good job, when you just start either being really annoyed or hate the character. And there was moments where I was just like, just stop blaming your daughter for everything, or stop freaking out about stuff. Like I get it, but everybody else is trying and you're just flipping out. And that's how good she was. Like she really played that role perfectly. But yeah, man, those are great choices. What about you, Steven?
Man, are you going to leave out Charlie, aka Black Phillip's performance?
I'm sorry.
Dude, Black
um,
Phillip, man, he was just
when we were prepping for this, I thought that was so hilarious that he actually has like a credit.
Mm.
Um,
He
no,
said he
but
was horrible to work with.
yeah. um, I I think I would have to probably echo, what you guys were saying about Ralph Ineson. It's just a very morally conflicted character because, it's in a lot of ways, I mean, he's looking out, as a family man, he's looking out for the best interests of his family and, trying to align everything with his religious beliefs.
yeah.
But it almost feels like that very viewpoint is essentially working against him the entire way through. So, um,
The whole
yeah.
reason they had to leave was because he was a separatist,
Mhm.
right? So it is his stubborn religious beliefs that he wanted to change the structure of how things worked, and he said, "Well, then we'll go because we can handle it. I can do anything." It's totally
Yeah.
pride.
Yep.
Pride is a big part of it,
Mhm.
especially with his character. I mean, it's pride to essentially his downfall.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, essentially led everything that it all could have been avoided. Which it's funny. I saw the new "I Know What You Did Last Summer" yesterday, and that whoever hasn't seen it, quick spoiler, but at that ending where the girls are saying, they're like, all this could have been avoided if the men would have just gone to therapy, and it's so funny because in this film, it's like it all could have been avoided if he would have not been so stubborn.
Yes.
Um,
Sure.
Yeah, well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have, yeah, because all he had to do is, I mean, obviously, I know like what means to him. It's important, so you can't just convert to something or like
Yeah.
support something that you
Mhm.
don't truly believe in. But at the end, it was just like, man, it sucks that all that happened to everybody, and they were just kind of following him. They were like, oh, you're the leader, you're taking us to the right place, and it's just unfortunately,
Yeah,
obviously,
and
was
I
what
mean,
happened.
obviously the witch coven is to blame
Yeah,
for the ills of the film, but certainly they his family would have been in a safer place and would never have encountered that witch coven had he
Mhm.
not let his
yeah,
pride get in the way of him wanting to purely make sure his family was as safe as they could be. But I think he's just the most developed character of the film. He's the
I
most
agree.
complex.
Mm-hmm.
but could we argue and say that, like, even if the witches, right? Because I mean, even before the witches, they were, I mean, they were running out of food. Like the harvest wasn't working out. They're
Yeah,
already getting desperate. He sold the cup. So we
totally.
could even say it's like the real
But
desperation.
but who's to say that wasn't a supernatural effect? The
Oh,
crops dying out,
because of the
all
land.
that
Okay,
stuff, because of
that's good.
because
Okay,
of Black Phillip, because of the witch coven.
yeah,
We don't know. That's just something that's not answered. But I see what you're saying. Yeah, very possible. I'm just trying to play the devil's
yeah.
advocate here,
No,
I
it's
see
good,
I
dude.
see
I
what
love
you did
it.
there.
Listen,
literally.
well, I want to ask you guys, how does Black Phillip come in? Like, is introduced? I don't remember him just being introduced. So they just had this Satan goat this entire time, or did
I
he?
Part of their
think
farm.
what's that?
He was part of their farm.
Huh?
I'm convinced it was Jonas and Mercy doing their deals with the devil, doing those chants.
Yeah. Well,
Could be.
Jordan, what about you, man? What actor to you like really like stood out the most for you, and like,
Man, I hate to, not I hate to do this, but I do agree. Ralph Ineson's character is incredible. You really
yeah,
see the internal struggle that he has throughout the film of, him coming to grips with, I put my family here. Like as a man, he's trying to come to grips with, this is my fault. Like I pulled them away from civilization. I put him here. My Samuel's gone. Now Caleb is gone. This is on me. He carries a lot of burden. Um, but he also, you could see what the internal struggle is. He tries to keep the peace. I think that's what a big thing that he does, because you have the mom who is basically at her at wits end, like, let's just get rid of her,
yeah,
because she is a witch. She's better off with a different family. Um, and I think with him, he could see that, but he also plays the other side with, this is our daughter at the end of the day. What are you talking about? This is the family I have to take care of. So I would say him. I think Caleb too, as for a child actor, incredible. The internal struggle he has too, he does such a good job with. You can really see it throughout the film. But I think my final answer is Ralph Ineson.
Well, for $1,000, final answer, Ralph. Real quick here, we got Phil's creepy videos. What's up, man?
What's up,
Thank you
Phil?
for joining us.
Yay.
Now, I want to ask you guys about I guess the feeling of evil, the dread, the evil throughout the film, right? We have historical films. For example, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is only in the film for a few minutes, but the entire film, you sense him, right? He's there. He's a presence. And most people don't realize that he's only in the film for a few minutes. I think it was like 8 minutes or something small around there. And then with this film, it's kind of the same thing with the witch, right? You see the witch, I believe it was like 2 to 3 quick times. But do you think that because of, again, the atmosphere, the forest, the nature, it created that constant like looming doom? Do you think that it helped, like being set in such an isolated place, to be able to keep that evil constantly being reminded? It's like there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that the way that they filmed the trees in this movie feels like an extension of the witch herself. I mean, the shot of Thomason waking up after Caleb runs after Fowler in the woods, where she gets up and she's looking around and those trees are behind her, literally feels like, brambly witch hands reaching up from the earth around her. But yeah, I mean, like the presence of that, the witch and the coven is there the whole time, just because of how well they establish that atmosphere, and because of the understanding of the folklore, where you have things like hares showing up and stuff like that just creates this feeling of it always being around. Like I never even thought about the fact that the witch is, you only see her a couple times, because I feel like you see her in every shot of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like she's constantly there in the room.
Yeah.
You don't see her, but she's in the room, like pulling the strings, sort of. But no, that's great, man. Like, I like that. And what we're gonna switch. What about you, Jordan?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, it's just, how'd you feel about like the atmosphere, the environment in this film, making it feel like the witch, the coven is always there, but they're really not. Like, they're only in there for a few minutes throughout the film.
Yeah, it's in the way Robert Eggers shot it. There's some scenes like the establishing shot of the forest. It almost feels like you could see the Coven of Witches standing there watching you as you are watching them.
Yeah.
I think the score, I know we keep going back to the score, but it's that just the way it builds tension, the droning that's throughout the film, I think is great. The lighting adds to it, and them being isolated and the color grading, it feels alone, and you feel like there's nowhere you can go. It's where you're at your most vulnerable, when you're by yourself. And I think and he does such a great job of portraying that. All those culminate to that feeling.
It definitely feels cold, like throughout the whole film. I thought, and dude, that lighting was just, again, to be able to work with candlelight, like only candlelight and moonlight, like that's just incredible.
That dinner scene where the argument breaks out about the cup, the way that shot is lit, I think is beautiful. I think it's stunning.
The only thing I couldn't help but think about now was, it kind of, because I know Eggers is not happy that he had to shoot this one digitally. That's been a big complaint for him, is they didn't have the money to shoot this on film, because they wanted to do natural lighting, and you can't shoot film with natural lighting on the budget they were working with. But if you go and watch Nosferatu, you kind of get an idea of what this would have looked like had they been able to do that.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like in some ways I got really spoiled by the dinner scene in Nosferatu and how good that looks. Because when I was rewatching The Witch just before we went on, I was like, this looks amazing, but man, do I wish they'd had the resources to shoot it like they did Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think films like this, like the period pieces, they definitely have a better place with film than with
He's never
digital.
going to shoot anything on digital again, I guarantee it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure afterwards he was like, "What the fuck?" He was
Well,
like,
now the budget he's gonna get, like,
"Oh yeah."
It's never gonna. He's never gonna shoot digital again.
But man, I'll tell you this. I mean, even with that, like the creativity that went behind this, I mean, the tender love that went into it. I mean, using authentic language, the natural lighting. I mean, those are just things that are very difficult, very, very difficult. Very few people, very few
Yes.
directors and cinematographers could pull off something even close to that type of feat. And it's
That's
just,
Yeah, that's one thing we should shine a light on as we're talking about like the look of the movie, and
Mhm.
part of that obviously is Eggers wanting to having his vision and wanting to do that, but like Jaron Blaschke
Yeah.
deserves more because everyone talks about, oh, Robert Eggers is like his movies look so beautiful, and they do, and he's a part of that. But Jaron Blaschke is the reason they look as good as they do. That guy is a wizard.
yeah.
The way that he approaches cinematography is beautiful. He is one of the most artistic DPs that I think we have floating around right now. And like if you go back and look at Eggers' early short films, the jump from when he was doing them on his own to when Blaschke came on is huge. Like Blaschke makes such a huge difference. So we gotta give him his flowers.
Well, if you guys are watching, thank you for making this. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I doubt it,
seriously.
but just in case. Now, Steven, last but not least, man, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Like, as far as for obviously like the environment,
Yeah.
did you feel like the witch was always around throughout the film, or
Well, I think the witch's presence shows up in different like symbols, whether they're more obvious or a little bit more sparingly. So the ones that I noted when going back and watching it were, I know we talked about the forest, the trees is kind of an extension of the witch, but I also think that you have like the crow that is one
yeah,
symbol that I feel like
Mhm.
is representing some type of like corruption or in a lot of ways evil.
Totally.
Um, the use of shadows, I think, is very symbolic. Trying to see some of the other ones I had written down. So, and I know we touched on this earlier, where the rotting crops, the farm essentially just falling apart. I mean, the crops are decaying, animals are dying. You know, the last thing that I had noted was also the use of milk and blood. uh,
Yes.
I thought that
yeah,
that was something that I feel like, you know, your take, especially with milk, it's not ever seen as something that, you know, it's intertwined like that. But Eggers definitely goes there in a way that, I don't know, makes you look
and
at milk another way.
dude, and to use live animals like the way they did. I mean, dude, poor Ralph, man, he was injured so many times
Mhm.
because of like Black Phillip. And I mean, to be able to incorporate instead of using like CGI or any of that stuff, I mean, it's just I commend to the actors that have to work with live animals.
This
Um,
movie is actually one of my favorite examples when people will say anytime people try to like blanket criticize CGI as like an inherently bad thing, where they're like movies like The Witch don't. The Witch has a lot of CGI. There was a good chunk of it in this movie. You just don't notice it, and
I'll
that
talk. Yeah,
that's when it's good. Like when they're bloodletting Caleb, when they cut his head, all the
Mhm.
blood was CGI going into the bowl. None of that was there. They couldn't get it to work. At the end, when Black Phillip leads Thomason into the barn, there was a dude in a green screen standing there holding Black Phillip because they couldn't get him to cooperate. There's tons of that stuff in this movie.
That's hilarious.
freaking Black Phillip, man, dude. I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because see that right there. There's people that use both a combination of practical effects along with CGI,
That's when it's
and then
good.
in situations like this where it's so subtle, it's so well thought out,
Mhm.
not heavily relied on, that like you said, that especially that scene with Caleb where they tried first before using CGI, and at that point they're like, well, this is what we're gonna have to do. I mean, dude, I did not know that any of that was CGI,
Neither
and
did I.
that's
Mhm.
incredible. Like
Yeah.
that's incredible to know.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean, he's someone who's clearly, like, embraced that. Like,
yeah.
Nosferatu, they're doing full, like, cityscapes in CGI, but it's beautiful. It just
Mhm.
depends on how
Yeah.
you're using it.
Mhm.
I can appreciate it a little bit more sparingly because I think if you're using it in this situation, and Evan, I know you were talking about like the budgetary constraints that they had, but um the problem is that there's such an over reliance on it in a lot of movies that I think
True.
it's overkill. And I don't know. I mean, I think we've all been in a movie where if it's overly used, it kind of ruins the experience. Whereas for
Yeah.
this, it's like, okay, you use a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
goes a long ways, it doesn't take you out of it.
Well, I think too, it's especially how you light the scene when using said CG.
Yeah.
My
Count me
CG.
out on
Yeah,
that.
buddy. It's how you light the scene when using that CGI is a big
Absolutely.
proportion. So if you
Yeah.
have a CGI heavier movie, if it's lit right, it's gonna
Yeah.
look right. I think a perfect example is Jurassic Park. That first scene where the T-Rex comes out,
Mm.
that is all CG, and the way it was shot, the low light is the way why it looks so good. I guarantee you, if they had full spotlights on it, like the subject, it would look terrible.
Well, I mean, even like the big franchise where people are like practical effects are back right now with Terrifier. They use CGI too. They
Hmm.
blend practical with CG
Yeah.
constantly. It's just you just have to know how to use it appropriately.
And responsibly. I think that's a main thing.
Yeah.
Being responsible with it and having a good story. I think that's a thing too that distracts people from the CGI because people be surprised that us as film viewers we're willing to forgive a lot if you're giving us something good, something distracting. I mean, the Witch is so immersive. There's so much going on, so much tension building that you get taken away from the possibility of CGI. You forget. Like I felt the entire time of watching the film, not once that I think there was CGI used, just because I was so immersed in the story that it just goes to show it's just practicality.
I don't think you could ever know. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone would be able to guess that there was.
What in The Witch? Yeah, no,
No.
dude, I'd be surprised, man, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, especially the scene with Caleb with the blood coming down.
Mhm.
Like I had, like I wouldn't. It was such a simple thing that I would have never pictured CGI for that.
Well, and even knowing that it is, like, every time I've watched it since knowing that, I've tried to look, and, like,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can see there that indicates that it isn't practical. It's very impressive.
Revival House, thank you for
Hello.
tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Now I've got a bit. I got two questions for you guys. They might be a little controversial. Not sure. And the only reason I say that it's because obviously this film is very. It's The Witch remains one of the most divisive modern horror films.
Mhm.
It's either you like it, like you love it, or you absolutely hate it. But I never talk to people that actually say, it was good. I enjoyed it. It's always complete polar opposites.
Mhm.
What do you think? What do you think The Witch does that creates that divisiveness?
I think I already kind of said what I thought did that. It's a very slow burn film. It
Yeah.
has language that
That.
requires you to really pay attention and
Yeah.
probably watch it a couple of times to like actually understand what's going on in every conversation. And then we also just have people that I think in the modern day we just can't relate to. So
Yeah.
for a lot of people, like if you need to be able to relate to characters, if you want to be able to get personally invested in characters, this kind of movie is going to be probably tough to suck yourself into
Yeah.
just because they're so alien to what we know now. But I think it's the pace, mainly it's the pacing and the language. I would imagine is what does that. Like not everyone likes slow burn folk horror movies.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You got to have variety, right? We can't always agree on everything. It'd be boring if we did. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's what does it.
Well, could we say that as far as for the language in the film, that it's so good and so realistic to, obviously they were using the notes from the old times and stuff like that, that it's hard to really keep up. Do you think they did such a good job with the language that it's hard for even people that love like slow paced films and timepieces that it's just kind of hard? You're like, damn.
Well, and he's doubling down on that too.
Yeah.
Where just for anyone, if anyone's watching and the language in this movie or the lighthouse or whatever was a barrier, I don't imagine it would be for the Northman or Nosferatu as much, but for the first two films, Just so you know, his next movie, Werewolf, is going to be entirely in Middle English, which means subtitles. Everyone's going to watch it with subtitles, or you're not going to understand anything. So it's going to keep going down this route. He's clearly not deterred by the people who aren't into it because of the language barrier.
They're gonna have a voiceover option, and it's you just see their mouths moving in
Yeah.
Old English or something, and it's gonna be like, "Whoa, yeah, we're kind of screwed with the werewolf." And it's like,
I'd imagine it'll just be like the Dacian sequences in Nosferatu. We're just gonna get it subtitled in the
Yeah.
release.
I mean, I love the fact that Eggers has really carved out his own corner with folk horror, and he's doing something that I don't think any other director is doing right now. And if this is the corner that he wants to carve out for his filmmaking career, I mean, I think between 4 films, he's definitely deserved the right to do so. And I don't know, I'm very excited to see what his legacy ends up being long-term wise with future projects.
well, speaking of legacy, Stephen, do you think that this film pretty much cemented itself and created the legacy of helping A24's horror department, like really identify A24 as like a big contender for horror? Or do you think it was a different A24 film that did that?
I definitely feel like that this was one of the earlier examples of what the studio was capable of. I mean, this very well could have gone in a much different direction had maybe Eggers not been attached to the project. You know,
Yeah.
I think getting the right visionary behind the camera for something like this is so crucial, because if this had flopped, I don't know if he would have had the leeway to be able to do more of these films.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
he
and
was
he wrote it as well. So it wasn't something that A24 produced. It was he had production money, and then they just wound up distributing it, which is generally what they do. They don't tend to produce a ton. They're doing more now, but generally they're focused on distribution. But yeah, I mean, I think Hereditary is to thank really for like A24 being like the name in horror that it became. We have movies like The Witch that came that were certainly a part of that, like Steven was saying. But I think ultimately Hereditary was the thing that really, which is why they're just giving Ari Aster blank checks now to make movies that don't make any money. And I hope they keep doing that because I love them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's for the sake of the art in the end of the day, man. I mean, it just and this is the second question I had, again, a little controversial. But there's a lot of divide with A24, right? I mean, there's been a lot of talk that I've been seeing lately on the internet all over the place where people are saying, I mean, it's been a while, but since kind of elevated horror has been established, a lot of people are saying, okay, again, artsy fartsy, it's not real horror, it's just to kind of confuse people and take their money, and it's like cop out type situation, right? And not me saying that, it's just stuff that I've heard. Other people love it. Like they're saying A24 is an important company because they're allowing people like Robert to be fully creative without being worried about being penalized. That if they don't bring in big box office money, that's it. That was their chance. You didn't bring in money, no more creativity. Just stick to the recipes that already existed before you. Would you agree and say that a company like A24 is important? Other companies like them that are allowing these directors to be fully creative, create films like this with just, again, natural candlelight, real animals, authentic, like folk type language, so to speak. And like, what are you guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, A24, if you really go back and look at it, I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways they're responsible for not only Eggers and um oh my gosh, who we said Eggers and Astor,
Yeah,
but also look at like Alex Garland, for
Yeah,
example,
totally.
or the
Mhm.
Safdie brothers, with their first couple films. Like,
David Lowery.
yep,
yeah,
yep. So it's I think that if you didn't have a studio that was willing to take risks with some of these creative talents, like we need that. I'll be honest, like I don't want I mean, I think we're kind of getting to that point where there's a little bit more balance with films, but I mean, we were hitting a point where you're getting a lot of like requels, superhero films. You need some sort of balance to balance it out, and not saying that there's anything wrong with those, but I have a deeper level of appreciation for artists that really want to hone in with their vision and the films that they want to create. And I feel like Eggers is probably one of the perfect examples.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of and I know where you're getting at with this, the whole elevated horror and does it deserve? I think it does, and because look, I think there's films for everybody, and I think they all deserve their spot. Um, just as much as let's say I might get hate for the Studio Ghibli anime. I'm not the biggest anime guy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way.
but go for it. More power to you. I want those movies to thrive. I know. So, and to go off of what Steve said about A24, I mean, heck, they're even doing they're moving a little bit away from horror. They're still doing horror, but they're really branching out. Look at The Materialist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the more mainstream movies I have seen, from them in a while. It's a rom-com
Mhm.
at the end of the
Mhm.
day. So, to pin A24 as only this elevated horror company, I don't know about that. I would say Neon is more that than anything. But
Yeah.
Right now, yeah. Although Life of Chuck they did just put out. I don't know how well that.
oh yeah,
actually-
that's true.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Well,
But-
and I was going through like this long list of A24 films, but I mean they've been responsible for more recently. I feel like the 2020s was really when they hit their stride with a lot of like more diverse movies, but
Mhm.
the Filippo brothers with Talk to
Mhm.
Me and Bring Her Back, and trying to see who else. There was somebody else I had seen on here that Ty West.
Yeah.
Ty West, with the X trilogy, that's again, I mean, how many other studios do you think would be willing to let a director really kind of do whatever he wants to
Yeah.
do with his vision? I mean, these are, if you guys look at it, each of them are paying homage to a wide variety of different genres, but they're all very, very different movies. They're not, it's, I just don't really see that coming from your more like straightforward studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too that in which Steven here in the comments was saying, completely agree with this. Um, man, we live in a world now where, and it's not trying to sound old or anything, but it's true. We live in a world where now everything is instant, everything is fast, everything's fast paced. People, I mean, Instagram was an app for photography, and it
Yeah.
turned into it went from photography. It's no longer really fully used for that. It's all about reels now. Same thing with YouTube. A lot of people don't want to watch videos like this that are like 2-3 hours long. They want to watch quick 60-second clips. They just want the meat and potatoes, but they don't want to know how it was put together.
Mhm.
And I think that it's important to have these type of, intellectual films, intellectual horror films, because not everything could just be. And again, I mean, me saying this, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween. These are movies where they're pretty obvious when you're watching them for the most part. You know what's going to happen. Kids are hooking up. It's a death sentence. And not hating on that at all, because I love that. I grew up with that. But
Same.
I think for our generation, being able to see these films and being able to appreciate the complexity that goes into it, where at the end of it, you feel like you just came out of some maze from The Shining, and you're kind of like, holy hell, what a ride. Instead of expecting it to be spoon fed to you, or just being simple where you're just kind of sitting there and already know how it ends, but you're watching it. And I think it's important. I think it's important films like this to not only help educate people with certain, topics, like obviously like The Witch, but also just stimulate people and teach them patience.
Well, go ahead.
No,
No,
that
sorry,
was that.
you finished. Go say what you were gonna say.
No, that
Oh.
was that was it. That was it. Sorry.
Talking to Steven. I think.
Oh,
Oh.
so what I can appreciate about it is that it challenges the audience, the viewer, because you know what, like you guys are right. I think we're living in a time now where everything is very fast paced. The attention spans are shorter. And what I love about these films specifically, yeah, sure, maybe elevated horror isn't necessarily for everyone, but I know when I'm sitting down for one of Eggers' films, like I know that I am like locked in for probably 2+ hours
Oh yeah.
with a film that is going to be immersive and world building, and it's going to take me to a much different time. Um, And I don't know. I think it harkens back to, in a lot of ways, like I even go back and I'll watch like films from like the 60s and 70s, and you can definitely tell like the pace is very different compared to what we get now. And I don't know, it's nice to see some variety. I don't know, I
Yeah.
can't emphasize that enough.
Well, and like you said that the question was controversial, and my answer may be somewhat controversial as well. You don't have to like these kinds of movies. I absolutely understand why someone would go into something like Beau is Afraid and not enjoy it.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. But I do think that if someone's going to say something like studios like A24 or Neon are not important, you may have movies that you like, but I don't think you actually care about movies, because we need studios that are willing to let directors and filmmakers be creative and try things out and get
Mhm.
weird, because that's the only way that you get these filmmakers who like shape a generation. You don't get it when they're just worried about making the biggest box office. So if you really think studios like this don't matter, I don't think you actually care about film.
Dude, I a billion percent agree with you. I'm glad you said that, because it's true. I believe it fully in my heart that you need to allow creativity to blossom, and you need to be
Mhm.
able to give people the tools. And if we keep relying on technology and just the simple recipe for films all the time, boy meets girl, they fall in love, meet cute, all that stuff, the end, or slasher movies, where sometimes, like modern day stuff, it just doesn't make sense. And to be able to have the option to have the complexity, to educate, to create the patience. I mean, dude, these studios, I mean, they're losing money, but they don't care,
Yeah.
and they're just investing in people. They're
Well,
investing in the directors, and they're not investing in the film. And I think that's what's important.
yeah, and like to be clear, that's not me trying to be elitist and saying like you have to like these movies or you
Yeah,
don't
no, for
appreciate them.
sure.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I like I own a Blu-ray of Mac and Devin Go to High School. Okay, I own some stupid fucking movies, dude, and I love those too.
Yeah.
But we need these, like, for lack of a better term, like auteur filmmakers who are completely unique and can just like when I don't know. I keep going back to Beau is Afraid because that was such a confusing experience to see like a $35 million movie like that. I've never in my life seen something with that kind of money behind it that was that strange. And
Mhm.
that's just exciting to me. Like I didn't
yeah,
even fully know if I liked the movie or not my first time seeing it, but I was like, I'm so glad this exists. Like this is super cool that this is allowed to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely it really does matter. I think especially now when there's such a push. We have uh, studios trying to make AI actors,
Mhm.
right?
yeah.
We need these people that are making movies that are the antithesis to what these big studio execs think film should be. We need this. It's very important.
Yeah, we kind of need those guards, blocking the gate and saying, listen, it's not always about profit. It's about creativity. I mean, in the end of the day, it's an art form. Um, dude, it's, I think, to me, again, films, music, art, literature, they're all supposed to help us as human beings transcend and being able to be immersed, and to go into a movie and walk out confused as shit, or moved somehow.
Mhm,
Mhm.
That's when they did their job. Either you laughed, you cried, or you just walked out not understanding what you just watched. At the end of the day, the point is to make you feel something.
mhm.
And yeah, I mean, 100%, man. And quick shout out, by the way, Beef Cheeks is back on the streets.
Ooh,
Thank you
nice.
so much for the super
Haven't
chat, Beef
seen you in a
Cheeks.
while.
Dude, we missed you. We were just talking about you at the end of the last episode. We're like, we haven't seen Beef Cheeks.
The second coming of Beef Cheeks.
There we go. But yeah, he said he's want to pass
The next
by.
Ari Aster movie.
The what?
The next Ari Aster movie.
There we go.
Beef
Beef
Cheeks.
Cheeks.
Yeah,
Beef Cheeks.
I'm waiting for it.
yeah.
And also scored the Tron Ares light up popcorn bucket. Dude, that's cool. See,
Awesome.
look at this guy. He goes from like the Witch soundtrack to the Tron popcorn light up bucket. See,
Yeah,
there could be
you gotta have
balance.
it all. It's fun.
Yeah.
Mhm. Beef Cheeks, I want you to sit there in the dark and listen to the soundtrack while you're just eating popcorn or a snack from that bucket. It's just a perfect blend. Like, I think it's perfect. Well, that's awesome, man. Good to see you, brother. I mean, we missed you, and good to see you hanging out with us. Now, let's move on to, because we're going to be hitting the 2-hour mark soon. I want to jump in, unless there's anything else about the film you guys wanted to talk about before we go into the rapid fire round. Is there anything you guys want to add or dive deep into?
That I can think of immediately. Covered a lot of ground. It's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. Like, you see, like with films like this, it goes just more than the film itself, but it just opens that dialogue to get deep and really
Well, that's the
figure
thing,
stuff.
like, I know, like my videos sometimes end up like too long. Like this is a 95-minute movie around that. I think the
Mhm.
credits roll around like 90 minutes. And my video on it was over 40 minutes long. So when I spend over half the runtime of the movie talking about it, that's when I'm like, oh, there's a lot to chew on here.
Yeah.
And how long was your Nosferatu video?
That was an hour and 37 minutes.
Wow.
Dude,
That took me 2 months to make. That was a lot of work.
What are your guys' expectations for his next film?
Oh God, don't get me started, man. Don't do that.
It's about to be a part 2 to this video.
Look,
continued.
I don't know if you were on when I was saying that I have been predicting his movies for a little while now. Where literally 3 days before Werewolf was announced, I was on a podcast right after Wolfman came out, where we were talking about what our ideal werewolf movie would be.
Mhm.
I said I would love to see something like what Robert Eggers did with The Witch, going back to the folklore.
Yeah.
3 days later, Werewolf got announced. And
Because I know, wasn't he was in talks with a couple different projects before it
yeah,
sounded like this was
so
finalized.
well, there was Labyrinth, which was interesting. I don't think anyone was expecting to hear that he was working on a Labyrinth sequel. And then he had also talked about wanting to do a Western at some point. There's The Night that he's talked about. There's a Rasputin mini-series that he wants to make, which sounds really interesting.
I heard about the Christmas Carol too.
So that's the other one I was going to get to, which I think Jordan had mentioned he saw my video of this. After Nosferatu came out, my brother and I were constantly talking about how perfect it would be if Robert Eggers made A Christmas Carol with Willem Dafoe as Ebenezer Scrooge.
Mhm.
Oh,
And so then that got announced, and there's a video on my Instagram of me losing my mind like 5 minutes after the announcement happened. I've never had a reaction like that to a movie announcement ever. I'm so unbelievably excited for that. But Werewolf is going to be dark. We know that. Everyone who has been involved with it, that's the only thing they've said about it, is that it's going to be super dark. We know that it's in the 13th century England, I believe.
Okay.
13th or 14th century England. It's entirely in Middle English, which is really interesting. And then the other thing that has me very intrigued is Jaron Blaschke was asked about it, who's the DP. He's been working the DP since The Witch. And he said that he felt like they kind of reached the peak of the style they had been doing through his first 4 movies with Nosferatu. And yeah, that movie was unbelievably gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And he said that what they're doing visually with this movie has not been done before.
Well, that's fascinating.
Interesting.
And I want to know what that means. I really want to know what that means. I'm like, are they trying to simulate the look of like woodcuts? Like, what are we? Because that's something that's very prevalent with like the era that this film takes place in. If you get really in the weeds, like I am with his stuff, there are photos and some videos of people who have snuck onto the set of the movie that they're currently building.
Oh wow.
In Wales, in Dartmoor and areas like that. So there are set construction photos and videos out there that you can look at. And there's one image that I'm so curious about, where there's a mirror laying on the ground with a red light beaming on it, and then you can see the camera pointing into the woods. Now, they've used mirrors before a couple of times. They used it in Nosferatu for like reflecting firelight if they wanted, because they wanted to really stick with natural light. But if they needed more, they would get mirrors. And just duplicate it that way.
That's incredible.
And they've done a lot with light filtering, where they would put like a colored filter in front of the lens of the camera to, for the nighttime scenes in Nosferatu and the Northman, they were putting something in that was literally filtering out all of the red light from getting into the lens, so there's just no red color data in the negative at all. And they did something similar to that for that shot in the lighthouse of him with his hand in the thing where the blood's disappearing from his face. It's because they were intensifying a red light while having a red filter in front of the camera, so the blood looked like it was disappearing, which is super cool.
That's crazy.
So I don't know what they're doing here. It was a confusing image. I couldn't tell what I was looking at for a little while because of the mirror. I was like, this is like, at first I thought it was a perch up in the trees and they were filming down into the woods, but then I'm like, no, that's not what's going on. I don't know what they're doing. It looks really cool. I could sit here and geek out about it for too long. But it looks sick. I'm extremely excited. It's going to be super messed up because old school werewolf folklore is macabre. It's
Yeah. That's right up my alley.
Because it's going to be so, like, I find it almost concerning that the darkness of this movie is so noteworthy, considering in the first 9 minutes of The Witch, a baby gets turned into jam. Right? So
Yeah, turned, yeah.
The bar we're working with here is pretty high already.
Yeah. Well, Evan, I want to ask you, man, that has nothing to do with The Witch or anything, just personal question. Again, feel free if you don't want to answer, no worries.
Okay.
But dude, like, first time meeting you, first time hanging out, you just seem so knowledgeable, so excited about cinema, so passionate.
Thank you.
Dude, like, do you have like, what's your background, man? Like, did you go to school for film? Like, what got you into this, like, into where you are now, man? I mean, dude, because it's just interesting. It's interesting having this conversation with you. You're a very deep guy, so it's pretty cool.
Appreciate that. No, I didn't. I didn't do anything after high school. I went straight into a full-time job. I was managing a music lesson center, and I was doing that up till I went full-time with this last year. But no, I have no like actual. I'm completely unqualified. I'm just a movie nerd.
Dude, I don't know about that, man. The stuff that you're talking about. It's like you're shining a light on things. Where, I mean, the fact that you care, like you were talking about the mirrors and the light reflecting. Not that many people that watch movies think about stuff like that. They're more like movie story, but like the little details, and that's incredible, man.
Part of it is like I want to make movies, so like I wind up watching a lot of behind the scenes stuff to get inspiration for like how to, like I'm working on my first short film right now, so I've been watching a lot of like cinematography videos.
Oh yeah.
To get inspiration. We've been watching lots. Like my cousin, who's the DP on the project we're working on, we've both been watching like tons of interviews, and Jaron Blaschke's been a big inspiration. But yeah, we shot the first scene last week, and it was completely different from how we wrote it because the weather it couldn't have been more different, but it wound up like being so good that I'm literally rewriting some of the script around how good that weather was.
Dude,
But
I love that.
it's fun. Anyway, no, I appreciate it. It was very kind of you to say, but no, I'm entirely unqualified. I'm just a nerd about it, and especially since I went full time with this, I just spend too much time like reading about this stuff and watching videos about it because I find it interesting. I love film. It's what I hope to eventually spend my life doing. So,
dude, well, I mean, listen, like there's YouTubers out there that have done the transition and become
totally
like directors and stuff.
I was telling you guys, like I was just out hanging out with Chris Stuckman, who's literally doing that right now, where he has his first movie coming out at the end of the month. And that was certainly a very inspiring conversation to see someone who made that transition from being a content creator for so long to being able to make his first feature. It's super cool. And hopefully someday I can do it, but my short film will happen. That is happening.
Well,
that's exciting.
Dude, the short film, is there any time frame where we could be expecting it at all? I mean, if you're able to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for early 2026, like maybe in January.
Dude, right around the corner. Okay.
I'm hoping it can be good to go by then, but I can't guarantee anything because I'm sure once we shoot and I start working on Foley, then I'm going to realize it's going to take way longer than I think it is.
Hey,
so
Foley's no joke. I'll tell you that right now. I went to school for audio engineering, and Foley it's fun, but it's a task.
Well, like I did a little bit of it because I wanted to get just a vibe check for that opening scene that we shot. So I I didn't record them, but even just I found some Foley effects online just to test it out with, and even just that with pre-made Foley effects, it's time consuming. So we will see. We will see, but it won't be this year. It'll be out sometime next year.
Well, listen, man, I'm hoping that in the future, once the film comes out, hey, maybe we dedicate a Cinema Rewind episode. We talk about it and stuff, and
That'd be cool.
find out everything that went into it. Because again, dude, it's
I can send you guys that opening scene after this if you want to take a look at it. I'm looking for feedback. So
hey,
dude,
you know,
yes.
if you're up
Incredible.
to it, yeah,
I'll take you up on it, man.
Yeah, it's literally just one scene. There's no context. It won't make any sense. It's just
it's fine.
Hey, that's you know what?
Hey, I watch movies like that, so it's okay.
Yeah, same.
It'll be great to see which each of us to see our interpretation of that scene. That'd be,
Well, that was one thing I liked. When I sent my cousin, who, as I was saying, was the DP on it, when I sent him the script initially, it was just the first scene that I sent him. And then he sent back this interpretation of it where I was like, I mean, I wasn't thinking that, but that's super cool.
Yeah.
That like popped into your head. It is cool to see like how different. I mean, obviously that's just film nerd thing, but how people interpret things.
I mean, it's life, dude. We all every single person does experiences life differently. We all have our own little movie in our heads, and
Totally.
it's gonna be fun to be able to see the difference, because it also tells you the mindset that people are in at the time, how they portray the world.
Yeah.
Like I've said it before, you could watch a movie that came out when you watched it when you were 15. You could watch it when you're 25, when you're 35, and each single time it's gonna be a completely different film.
Yeah.
And Beef Cheeks did say he wanted to let you know that he purchased Nosferatu Ultimate Collector's Steelbook.
Hell yeah.
So that's
I'm still waiting on mine. I see he's rocking the cool one. I'm rocking the original.
There it is.
Oh, you little tease.
Damn it, guys. You're going to make me spend money that I don't need to spend.
You
Mine
need to
is
spend
on the
it.
way. Mine is on the way to the house, and then I can complete the big box collection. Finally.
I don't have Nosferatu yet because I've been waiting for there's so many options, and I'm glad there's certain things that I've just I just sit there and wait because I'm like, oh man, I know something else even cooler is gonna come out, and I'm like, I don't want to own it twice because I could only afford so much.
What bothers me now is the staggered release of Blu-ray and then 4K a while down the road. I don't care if they release it's a new Steelbook. It's like that's fine. But when they do Blu-ray first, and then it's like, oh, I guess there's not a 4K, I'll buy the Blu-ray, and then I know why they're doing it. I don't like it.
No. I was going to ask you guys, do you think that there's any possibility that either the Northmen or Nosferatu end up getting some type of boutique release?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, to be honest, they didn't skimp out on the bonus features on the releases that we do have. They're actually pretty solid in terms of what we have there. I would love if there's more that we can get. But it's something where especially with these collector's editions that Focus is putting out, I actually think they're really good. I don't think it's necessary, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's
sure Jordan would probably know more than I would.
Yeah.
About that.
Oh, the Bat Boutique. Well, I will say it's not impossible because Universal, they're the ones who do these Steelbooks, thinner ones like this.
Yeah.
They did Inglourious Bastards, and then Arrow turned around and did Inglourious Bastards. So it's possible.
Maybe. Yeah.
There's hope. Listen, guys, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Jordan's an industry plant. He knows everything. This guy's never wrong.
Poor Jordan.
That's why he gets everything he gets
Arrow,
early.
If it's Arrow, those do tend to be higher bit rate than other releases. So that would be a point where I would buy them again.
Or Second Sight. Oh.
I know.
Second Sight are on top, and I need Second Sight. I live in Canada, so I have to pay import prices. And buying Second Sight movies is not I just pre-ordered Possession, and oh my god, that was expensive. But I was like, I need it though.
Yeah,
I really want it.
Well, is there a way around that? If somebody let's say one of us, we buy it and they send it to us and we just mail it to you, is there still an import fee?
I don't know. I've had some buddies in the US offer that before, but especially now with all the tariff stuff, I don't know how that works anyway. So I don't know if it would wind up being cheaper, but it's the price of importing. It's just part of it. I mean, a Criterion release, I'll pay $70-$80 for single 4K.
Wow.
Sometimes, yeah, it gets crazy.
What
See, and people here, you're complaining about prices. I don't want to hear no more complaining about prices.
That's right. That's right,
Cut
guys.
that out.
This poor man, even during the Criterion sales, he doesn't get to fully enjoy them. Like,
I don't even get the Criterion sales, man. There's US only. From what I found, yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. But thankfully, because this is my job, if I talk about it, it can be a tax write-off.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go, man. It's a
So,
business.
There's a silver lining there.
Dude. And just for anybody, if anybody out there's actually watching, sponsor these guys, sponsor the channel, the series, Second Sight. What are you waiting for? Look at us. We talk about you guys stuff we talk about you guys in every episode. We're always wishing for something new or showing off something. We got Jordan over here with all the cool new stuff.
I just got a huge box. I got When Evil Lurks and The Coffee Table and House of the Devil.
Oh, wow.
Something else. Like, come on, guys. Show some love.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a freaking watch, like a binge watch, dude. All those freaking movies.
When I arrived, I was like, what, am I trying to give myself, am I trying to wind up in a psych ward? Coffee Table is the most stressful thing I've seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, that movie.
It's a great movie, but oh my God, it's hard to watch.
Dude,
it's rough.
I picture you walking out after all 3 films, you're just pale and just confused and.
Well, House of the Devil would feel like watching Treehouse after going through When Evil Lurks and Coffee Table.
Jesus.
I'd be like, oh, this is nice. To wind down a little bit.
Beef Cheeks saying, "Yep, Possession and Reanimator Second Sight are incredible." Yeah, man. I never got the original Reanimator release, so I'm glad I held off because I'm so excited for this Second Sight one.
Yeah.
But with that, I guess that wraps it up for The Witch. Let's not wraps it up yet, but we're gonna do a quick little rapid fire round. And then from there we'll go ahead and give our ratings. Now, we did touch about it a little bit earlier in the episode. So for the first question, it's going to be the most chilling, scary moment for you in The Witch. Evan.
The most chilling moment in The Witch. I'm between two. I'm between when she turns around in the barn when she's sucking on the udder and the look on Kate Dickey's face when she says it is you, the morning that everything goes bad. I think those two were for me the most unsettling moments of the film.
No, those are some good choices.
Yeah.
What about you, Steven? Give us the most chilling for you.
I mean, I think the scene where I'm trying to remember because the scene where basically you hit it, well, isn't it Black Phillip speaking in one of the scenes? Or I guess Black Phillip. But yeah, I mean that I don't know. That type of stuff always kind of freaks me out a little bit because I think we've talked about this before, like possession type stuff. That's one thing. But then when you start really talking about the devil and things like that, that's where I'm just like, okay, well, I don't really want to fuck with that. So, but I'd probably have to be with anything related to Black Phillip or, I guess I'm trying to remember how that scene even plays out because I didn't really have a chance to go back and rewatch it. But
look at the end when she's accepting the offer.
When she gets the contract and all that?
Yeah.
The contract.
Yeah.
It is.
That's what it is. The book, Satan's book is offered to her, and then you can see him come behind her.
Yes, that's it.
Whispering.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will guide thy hand. It's great.
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna scare Steven. You give him nightmares. Don't do it.
Yep.
He's gonna hear some footsteps or something. He's like, "Yep, nope." What about you, Jordan?
Yep, it's that scene. The whole contract signing scene when Black Phillip approaches her from behind. Either that or when she has officially accepted the moniker of a witch and joins the coven and starts floating in that maniacal kind of release that she has of laughter. It reminded me very similar of that ending in a way, the ending of Hereditary, where they go up into the treehouse.
Yeah.
Just that's the feeling that scene gave me is almost similar to the kind of what The Witch was. But for me, the way Hereditary ended just ruined me. But
Yeah. It's pretty bleak.
Dude, that scene where to me it creeped me out was when she was just already signed up the good book and all that, and she's walking into the woods in the dark with Black Phillip. Was just one of those like, dude, to walk in vulnerable like that and to, at night into the woods like that. It was
What I love so much about that shot too is the hill is in shadow.
yeah.
So while she's walking, it starts to look like she's just walking up into the darkness. Like you can't see her feet touching anything. And it's so cool.
Well, let's talk about for the next question. There's two key animals in this film that are creepy as hell. Obviously, the goat himself, Black Phillip, and then we have that rabbit with those eyes. That again, if you look at the eyes, they look very similar to Black Phillip's. Out of the two animals, which one do you think, they've had a little bit more presence, a little bit more creepiness to them?
Who are we starting with?
Oh, Evan, we're going to start with you with all of them because you're an honored guest. So you're in the hot seat.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I mean, I love as like a nerd for folklore stuff. I love that the hair is there. That's super cool to see. It's something that's really important in like folklore around witchcraft and something you don't see depicted as often as I think it should be. But if we're talking about like presence and impact, I think Black Phillip takes it by a mile. He's more like the hair is there as sort of an omen, an indication of the presence of the witch, whereas Black Phillip is more agentic, and is a little more active. Well, no, quite a bit more active through the movie, and is also directly responsible for so much of what happens, especially with the manipulation of Jonas and Mercy. He's like, whispering in their ear the whole time and making them, telling them things that it knows they will repeat and it knows will get Thomason in trouble and make things all worse. So yeah, it's Black Phillip.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up about the hair because it's true. I'm always used to like the black cats, like crows, ravens, like stuff like that, or goats, but very rarely. Like I didn't, and I'm glad he.
And there we go.
Yeah, as soon as we're talking about Black Phillip again, no,
he's got to stop all this talk, man.
No, but that is one thing that I like about Eggers movies a lot, is that like he'll often have these depictions of things that we've gotten really used to being portrayed in a certain way, but then like he talked about when he was making Nosferatu, the amount of unlearning that had to go into making a folklore accurate vampire. And you have the same thing with the witch and Vikings as well, where I think a lot of Viking media portrays Vikings as like cool, and it's like they weren't that. They were really bad people.
Yeah.
And if you like, the Northman doesn't show Amleth constantly doing horrible things, but the people he's with do. And he's also like not someone that we can relate to. He is a bloodlust driven, violent animal. And that's what Vikings were. And I think it's cool that he kind of makes these movies that require that sort of unlearning.
I thought the look of Nosferatu was just, it was fascinating to me because it was so polarizing. But
It's zombie.
yeah,
well,
but
yeah, I mean that's what vampires were. They were the undead.
Yep.
I think that you have to commend him for the amount of like research and creative liberties that he takes with how he constructs each one of these movies. That's why, like we were talking about his werewolf film, and it's like I just can't help but wonder what the design is going to be like. Just
You know what I'd like to see?
I don't know. What is it?
I would love, because part of old werewolf folklore is people who would wrap a wolf pelt around themselves during the full moon to voluntarily transform into it. Obviously, it was like a form of satanic worship.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that sort of approach where we're going back to that kind of thing.
I mean, I'm sure that he is going to be doing a deep dive into a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's has me so optimistic.
I am of the opinion, I think I'm going to really like Werewolf. It sounds right up my alley. But I also think that this has the potential to be his most divisive movie, like by far,
Hmm.
because of the language and because, well, Nosferatu was a different depiction of a vampire. I think werewolves have changed more than vampires have in the way we're used to seeing them. And it's going to be tough. I think there's a chance that this movie gets
Well,
really hated.
and even what I thought was interesting was, like, love it or hate it, Wolfman was a film that I felt like they kind of tried to do a little bit of a different approach, almost like
Mhm.
the body horror
Yep.
aspect of it. I don't know, like, I still don't know if that actually landed for me. It felt like the film was a little undercooked.
There are some things I really like about that movie, but that's exactly the word I use for it. That script needed another like 6 months.
I I don't. It's just surprising to me that the creative direction. I mean, Invisible Man was a film that I felt like got everything right, and
Right.
you're doing like a more updated take on the concept, which is, I mean, you got to do something different. But for this, I was like, dude, I like the idea of him like being unable to like hear what's going on around him, the perceive or the not perceive perception of things for his character. I don't know, there was just something that you could tell, like, if this had been fleshed out a little bit more, this could have been really special.
There's some
And
cool stuff in that movie. I just wish it got realized fully.
that one
Guys,
was
Wait, you got cursed by Black Phillip again, did you?
dude, I swear, like every time I bring up that name,
Yeah.
um,
It's not going well for you.
yeah, man. But we're almost done with the rapid fire. We got 3 quick questions. I know Jordan's gonna have to jump off. Jordan, are you able to do them or do you wanna
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I was just it's getting close, but yeah, if we get through them, we should be good.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I won't bring up. I'm just gonna say B Phil for now on, just in case. Um,
Okay.
B
uh,
Phil for short.
there you go. So I want to talk about the 1600s. Do you guys think that you would survive a week in New England, 1600s, in the particular setting?
Hell no.
Fuck
No.
no. Not a chance in hell. None of us are designed for that anymore. There's a couple people who would probably figure things out, but like, no.
Yeah, I
Nope.
think our stomachs alone, we just drink like water from the creek,
Yeah.
needed diarrhea. Like, we're
Well, that's
Dude.
the thing. As soon as we get unfiltered water, we're gonna
Mm.
die. It's
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
no, I wouldn't survive. I don't think I'd survive fucking.
Well, I think in unison, there we go. All
Yeah.
right. Well, um, now let's talk about the scariest thing of the film, right? Would you consider the isolation or the religious guilt? Like, which one do you think was more scarier in the film?
I find solitude peaceful. To me, the idea and the depiction of religious guilt in this film has always been really upsetting. Like I mentioned that conversation he has with Caleb early on in the film,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where they're talking about original sin, which is always an idea that like bothered me. And so to see it talked about in such a not like callous way, but in like this is real, and yeah, Sam might be in hell and we don't know. I'm like, that's fucking scary. So to
Mhm.
me, it's the religious guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to echo that. It feels like it's a very warped perception on what I would say more of a modern view of religion is.
Mm.
Um, and
It just robs you of your life.
yeah, like,
Perspective is so sad.
and it's just taken to such an extreme that I feel like it really, really hurts the entire family across the board. So I mean, thankfully we're, for the most part, it's not like that now, but I can imagine back then. I mean, people lived and died by their beliefs, especially when it came to religion. Oh God, I think I got him
Oh
again.
no. Did we lose him again? No.
Jeez.
God
It's all right.
damn it.
I'll answer mine real quick. I think religious, that whole thing, because look, to tear down what you fully believe in yourself and what you believe in, and for someone to basically use that as the catalyst to do whatever, I think is very scary.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, Jordan, before you go, obviously I want you to promote yourself real quick. As usual, I want to ask you one last question for you, okay? Would thou love to live deliciously? Yes or
Hell no.
no? There we go. But no, dude, listen, let everybody know, because before either I lose connectivity again or you know, I gotta go. Black Phillip's after me. Go ahead and let everybody know what you're working on. Promote the hell out of the movie room. Yeah, I'm put this on here and go for it, brother.
Yeah, the movie room. I'm partnering with them, and it's an awesome husband and wife small business physical media shop. So go check them out. You use that, save yourself 10% off your first order. But yeah, over on the Movie Den, we're just a full swing spooky season right now. So I've been going through top 10 Halloween recommendations, going through each label. That's what I'm doing right now. Um, Knee deep or neck deep actually in preparing for something really big that's coming at the end of this month. So I'm sure you guys might have kind of got wind of some of it, different stuff posts on Instagram. So stay tuned for that. It's a big undertaking. So really, really excited for that. It's going to be, I'll just say it's a whole week of fun. Let's just say that. And it's going to be really awesome. But other than that, I just got this in today. So be on the lookout for a review for this guy.
I love that movie so much.
The Curse of Frankenstein. This just showed up. So excited to dive into look what Hammer Horror is doing with their releases. I think are incredible, and I hope they continue these type of releases next year because I really want a Dracula
Mm.
to
That
go with
movie has my favorite depiction of Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay.
Love it. Peter Cushing is so good
Hell yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Pretty great. I don't love the monster in that movie, but Dr. Frankenstein is on point.
There you go. But yeah, that's about all I have going on. I'm doing a 31 Nights of Halloween. We're obviously in it right now, about halfway through. So if you guys go on my Instagram, in my bio, there's a PDF download link in there. You can download the calendar for yourself. Tonight we're watching Hereditary. So actually, funny enough, The Witch was Sunday night. So, and last night, what did we watch last night? Last night was Haunt. So
You're so close,
Haunt is
JC.
awesome.
Right there.
there you go.
Jesus.
Go there.
Right where I am. Right there. There we go.
There you are. So that's what I got going on, guys.
Jordan, before you go, Letterboxd. This movie has 4 out of 5 stars. What are you giving it?
Do I give a 5 out of 5? I've given 5 out of 5 for me. I love this movie. I think this is a masterpiece. I think it checks every single box you could possibly check. And for it to be Robert Eggers' just directorial debut, just going out the gate swinging, 5 out of 5 for me. I think it's a perfect movie. Can't complain.
Guys, if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. I mean, this man gave it a 5 star. So
I did.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, brother,
All right, guys.
Thank you for joining us, man. You have a good night. Love you, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Hey, Jordan.
Guys, see you guys later.
Yeah.
Later, brother. Beef Cheeks was saying he had to go too earlier. He had work in the morning, but Beef Cheeks, I know you're not watching this now. You're watching the recording, but dude, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, we just had 2 quick rapid fire round questions.
Sure.
And then we're almost all set, guys. As for Anya Taylor-Joy's best role, right? A lot of people are saying this is her best role. Would you agree, or is there another film that you would say it's her best role?
I love her in The Menu.
That was a good
so
movie.
much. I would say The Menu and The Northman are my 2 favorite Anya Taylor-Joy performances. I may ultimately go with The Northman just because the scene at the end of the movie of her calling the wind to the sails of the boat is so goddamn cool. And I mean, Unga of the Birch Forest as this like mystical magic lady. It's just, I love that kind of shit. Yeah, Northman or The Menu, I think would be my favorite. roles of hers?
Oh, it's got to be.
Did he freeze again?
I think so. This guy can't catch a break.
Oh, no.
I swear, I would have to probably go with the Northman though.
Yeah.
This would be a close second. You can obviously tell she's not as seasoned at this point, but I think the role for this movie works so well to her.
Yeah.
Like, where she's at. But yeah, the Northman, just by a wide margin. I'm curious to see if she is going to be, is she attached to a werewolf?
Not yet.
Okay.
We have Lily Rose Depp, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Willem Dafoe.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. Man, I gotta say with Anya that
Oh no.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
interesting to see her career develop
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, and it was cool in the Northman too, because obviously she wasn't in the Lighthouse, and the Northman was like 7 years after The Witch, so she had a lot of time to kind of season herself as an actor. And I think her character in that movie too, it's not just her performance, that character is so awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Northman, easily his most underrated movie. Like, I see a lot of people shit on this thing. I think it's just as good as his other movies.
Oh, I agree
Sometimes
wholeheartedly.
it's my favorite.
Do you
Sometimes
see
it's my favorite.
do you see a situation where he ever pairs back up with Robert Pattinson for a film?
I hope so. I know that Robert Pattinson kind of just wants to make like really weird shit right now, which is why Eggers sent him the Lighthouse script. I would love to see them. I mean, The Lighthouse is one of my most quoted probably the movie that I quote the most.
Yeah, very
is The
quotable.
Lighthouse. Like my brother and I tell each other that we smell like curdled foreskin all the time because of that movie. So
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
I'm down with it.
and he has that great scene before Defoe's fantastic speech of, if I had a steak, oh boy, a bloody steak. If I had a steak, I'd fuck it. It's so good.
There's something about that movie that just the chemistry for that film. I don't know, that's the one
Perfect.
that I always come back to, where I feel like that one has the most rewatchability for me. I like the setting, the just the score, just across the board. I don't know, that one is easily by far probably my favorite Eggers film
dude,
that he's done.
I love coming back to like you just saying that. Like right when I come in, you're like, if I had us, I was like, of course. Dude, I want to apologize, guys. I'm so sorry for the connection issues. Like it never happened like this.
No,
But again, today I'm telling you, I mocked the deities, I mocked the witches, and for that, they're coming for me.
Shouldn't have done it.
Well, guys, for the last final question, I asked Jordan, I'm asking you guys. Would thou like to live deliciously? See, there we go again, messing it up.
hell no.
What about you, Evan?
Let's do it. Give it a whirl.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
There we go.
Oh man.
All right.
Oof.
Yes. Somebody
finally
finally
here first.
There we go. Signing the good book.
Yeah.
Now, as far as for movie ratings, guys, I asked Jordan already. 4 out of 5 stars in Letterboxd. What rating are you guys giving it? Evan, we'll start with you.
I've never rated a movie before. So
Really?
Yeah, I think it's not in my format of video. Like I do like long form video essays. So to me, in my head, I'm like, man, if at the end of my 40-minute video, I haven't made my point clear enough, I think I have to go back and rewrite some stuff. But I don't know. I also find it so difficult because like a 5 out of 5 can mean so many. Like, are we talking entertainment? Are we talking quality? Like, it means so
I
many
guess
different things.
See, the way I rate it, like my rating system out of 1 through 5, it's not just rewatchability, ownership, like being moved, but it's just one of those films. Like if I gave it a 5, it just touched on every category. I want to watch it like multiple times throughout the year. It made me feel something, like I was touched to the point where maybe my eyes teared up. I just felt like it's an important piece in history that needs to be preserved. So for me, like a 5 would be something like that.
I would, okay, then with that criteria, I would certainly consider The Witch a 5. However,
okay,
I'm going to say a 4 because with Eggers' films since then and hearing him talk about it, there's a lot in the movie where I can tell he didn't get to fully realize what he wanted to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain things where I'm like, but if like it's a 5, but if it was shot on film, it would be even better.
Yeah.
And it's a 5, but if he was able to shoot in the winter time like he wanted to, and if he was able to get the location he
Oh,
actually
wow.
wanted to get, then this could be like. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, this movie matches that criteria, but I also think that there's a lot that he wanted to do with it that never got done, and so I like to leave some room there.
No, it's important, man. It really is. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think as far as for the film itself, I thought it was a hard 4. I almost said a 4.5. But it's definitely there. Especially taking into account where it wasn't fully created and in like the way the director envisioned it. If not, then at that point probably would have ended up being a 5. But it's still an important film that should be studied. I mean, between the research that went into it, the simplicity of just candlelight, everything. It's just
Absolutely.
it's I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one day a film like this ended up in Criterion Collection. Like
Yep.
it's so good.
Totally.
But what about you, Steven? What are you giving this bad boy?
I'd have to give it a 5, and just for the sheer fact of just how impactful this movie is. It's doing something very much different for the time that it was released. It's Robert Eggers' debut film. I have to say that, I mean, he has probably a stronger debut film than a majority of the other directors that I
Ridiculous.
yeah, like I'm trying to think back at like some of the directors that I really like admire and appreciate. I don't think that they have as strong of a debut compared to his, you know. So I think based on that, that's kind of why I wanted to elevate it up a little bit higher. And I just adore the film. Like it's one that I think is very important for the time that it was released and even till now.
The only other two I can think of, like recently speaking, I would say yes, Eggers had an insane debut. I think Ari Aster with Hereditary was like a ridiculous way to break out into the scene. And I would also say, because I think this movie is just as good as like The Witch and Hereditary, and it doesn't get talked about as much as they do, is Rose Glass with Saint Maud, which was her directorial debut.
Oh
And
yeah,
that
that's right.
movie blew my fucking mind. So like those three to me, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, and Rose Glass, in terms of recent filmmakers, are the most impressive debuts.
That's a good choice.
Some good choices, man. Now, I mean, that's it for the movie rating. I'm gonna do a quick little outro, and then I'm gonna pass it on to you guys to kind of, promote anything that you got going on. I want to highlight
sure.
you guys. Now, that pretty much wraps up episode 19 of Cinema Rewind. We face the force, the fear, and the forbidden. The Witch from 2015 remains one of A24's most chilling and thought-provoking horror films. Now, obviously, if you're watching this film, I mean, not this film, but if you watch this episode, you made it to the end. There's a lot of conversation piece around this film. I mean, Evan has a video breaking everything down, so go check that out as well. But I want to say again, as usual, huge thank you to my co-host Jordan from the Movie Den. Again, congrats to getting to 1,000 subs. I mean, not subs, followers. He already has over 1,000 subs. And Steven, dude, thank you so much, man, for joining me as
man.
always. Make sure to check him out after our video. And to our very special guest, Evan, dude, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you like this. Like, it's awesome that first time interacting got to be on this episode and getting to know you a little bit better. And
Totally.
definitely want to have you back, man. I mean,
I'd
again,
love to. Yeah, this was awesome.
We'll have to do the lighthouse next.
oh,
Dude,
there we go.
I'll be even more excited to do that one.
Well, you know what, dude, just for you, you know what, we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
We'll eat lobster on the live stream.
Let me know. Well, that movie was actually shot just a couple hours away from where I live too.
No way.
So, yeah, it's a local production to me. So
oh my god,
like a homely thing there.
Well,
incredible,
dude. Yeah. We'll get it done, man. And guys, again, go check out Evan at Rockland Graves for joining us in this descent into darkness. If you're watching this episode, obviously YouTube, if you're watching it at my channel or any of the other guys' channels, make sure to subscribe, follow, like, whatever, comment if you enjoyed this, if you have your thoughts on The Witch. I mean, if you enjoyed the content, we want to earn your subscription. So, if you enjoyed it, make sure to do that. It'll keep you also notified every week, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We do these episodes. Unless anything changes, we'll let you know ahead of time. But guys, take it away. Evan, let everybody know if you got anything you're working on. Highlight your channel yourself. Anything you got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I do weekly video essays on my channel basically about various horror films. I've been trying to diversify a little bit and do some non-horror stuff as well. But yeah, I just love to talk about film. I do like they're generally anywhere from like 20 to 40 minutes on average, unless it's Nosferatu, and that was an hour and a half long. But yeah, no, I like to get real nerdy about film on my channel, and I yap for probably longer than I need to, but it's fun. So if that sounds up your alley, obviously we're currently working through October. I just put up a video on scary stories to tell in the dark.
Nice.
And I'm working on The Woman in Black and Cobweb now.
Okay.
To close off Spooky Month. And I actually I have a collab with Dr. Wolfula.
Oh, nice.
Video, which is super exciting to me because he was my biggest inspiration for YouTube. But now we're doing something fun for the Cobweb video that I'm looking forward to. So
dude,
that's about it for me.
That's awesome, man. That's the thing with this community. You never know who you're gonna end up collaborating with, and
Horror
sometimes you end up
the best, dude.
You're watching certain people, and next thing you know, you're hanging out with them, and it's just
totally.
Awesome,
Killjoy Jake I mentioned earlier. I was watching him for years, and now we're friends. Like he has my phone number. Right, we're always texting, and it's super cool to have that kind of thing. Cody Leach was another one where like I watched Cody for years, and now Cody and I talk to each other. It's fun. The horror community is awesome. The content creator space, there's no like competition. It's very, very welcoming, and that's been super cool.
Dude, we all share the common passion to preserve physical media, preserve film and cinematography and all that good stuff.
Have either of you guys been on Sledgehammer Horror yet?
No.
You will be. He gets everyone.
That's cool.
Yeah, so his name's Ken and Ashley. They have a channel called Sledgehammer Horror, and I always describe them as like common grounds for horror content creators. They've had everyone you could imagine on their show called My First Horror Movie, where you go on and talk about the first horror movie that you saw and how it impacted you. And they have all these various shows, but they're like the sweetest people you'll ever encounter.
That's
and if you're going to be creating in the horror space for any amount of time, you'll wind up on My First Horror Movie. And
sick.
You should absolutely do it. I'll reach out to Ken because you guys should get on there.
Dude, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Steven, what about you, brother? Red carpet's out.
You guys can find me at After Hours Video on all social media. So I'm doing a giveaway on Halloween, so the winner will be announced afterwards. So the criteria for it's on my Instagram, but I'm giving away a Nightmare on Elm Street DVD box set for anyone that's interested in entering in the giveaway. Outside of that, you guys know I'm a co-host on Beyond the Blood with Chris, Bearded Film Guy. We recently did an episode with Anthony Cousins, director of Frogman, so that was really fun. Yeah, and then we actually just wrapped up an interview that we did, kind of like an oversized sleepaway camp special with Catherine Kami, Karen Fields, and Tom Vandell. So we're super pumped for that. So be on the lookout for that. Outside of that, I'm doing an After Dark live stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time with Daniel from the Cobwebs channel.
Oh, Daniel's great.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that, and I'll be at Scarefest this weekend. So if you guys happen to be in Lexington, Kentucky, come hang out with me.
Nice.
Go hang out with this guy, guys. I mean, Steven's one of the best. I mean, I've known you for, dude, I want to say like
it's been a minute.
Dude, it's been it might be pushing pretty soon, close to a year. I would say like 10 months or something. And just full circle. It's funny because like I remember watching Brian last movie Standing, and then we became friends and we started talking. And then Jordan started watching Jordan's videos. And I saw you on Instagram. Next thing you know, we meet, and it's just awesome to be able to be friends and kind of like everybody just connecting like that. And it's just
so cool how it happens. Like Sledgehammer Horror, I met those guys when I had like 200 subs. and we've like grown our channels alongside each other. And I got
incredible.
to meet Jake was the same thing. I got to meet Jake and Dylan in person recently after years of talking to these guys online and chatting with them, like getting to hang out together in person. It's super cool. It's awesome that we get to know people like this.
I swear.
Dude, that's how it's been with me and Steven. We literally started around the same time. And like we've seen each other's like subscriptions and stuff, and we're just like, dude, like hell yeah.
I know. It's exciting.
It's been awesome to share that, man. It really is. It's one of those, I'll take this quote from Into the Wild. It's like life is about like sharing experiences with others.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes it so much sweeter being able to grow with like people you care about and friends and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But guys watching, again, check out these guys. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe and all that. So make sure to support them. As for me, if you're watching on Face the Movies and you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. If you keep coming back, and if you're watching a different channel, come on by, check out some of the content. I have a little bit of everything going on. Again, this series is every week, and then I do have a podcast that I'm a co-host with my buddy Lee from Cinema Whiplash. It's every Friday. It's the podcast's name is Friday Night Fright Night, which every Wednesday we record talking about a specific horror movie. We go a little bit in depth, talk about some funky stuff, what we enjoyed, what we didn't. We rate the film. Ton of fun, ton of laughs. It's pretty Wild West with us on that podcast. And every Friday we have a fresh episode for you. I also have the video format on YouTube on my channel, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We have the audio for you. Besides that, thank you, Steven, for reminding me about my giveaway that I've got going on. Dude, I completely
kind of important.
Yeah, kind of important. I got 2 giveaways, guys. Check out my Instagram at Face the Movies. Very active on there. I'm giving away the 4K Ninja Turtles box set. Thanks to my lovely people. Dude, it's so excited for that. My first big giveaway. The first giveaway in general. But with Valoria Video, partnered with them on it. When I get to 500 subscribers, we'll be giving that away live. Nice. And then next Tuesday's episode, I'll be giving away this Like, Comment, and Survive book.
Hell yeah.
All you got to do is check out that reel on Instagram. Make sure to follow me on there and follow Tim from the Dread Broadcast. He's actually the author of this book. So if you like found footage, horror,
so cool.
You'll win this copy. I'm going to announce it during Cinema Rewind next week. But besides that, that's it, guys. I mean, thank you so much for your support, showing up every week, hanging out with us. Again, Evan, thank you so much for hanging out. Cannot wait to have you back on. Steven, love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
And guys, Evan, stay on for just a sec after we cut off. But besides that, that wraps everything up. Till next week, guys, beware of the woods and don't go wandering around naked in nature. It's going to get weird.
Yeah.
But we'll see you on the next one, guys.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.